All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Market Close. We are closing out the second week of quarter three, and we've had some interesting updates in the past 3 hours or 4 hours since the market opened. One of them happening literally 10 minutes ago. I know some of these stocks are going red, even though they were super green when the market opened, and there's a reason for that. Some of them have specific reasons, like some of the fintechs, and some of them have a more macro reason. This reason, I don't really know if it's bullish or bearish. I'm leaning more towards bearish, but it can definitely be interpreted as bullish. And it broke 10 minutes ago, right before, we're getting into the market close. Here it is. The director of the chairman of the board of Fannie and Freddie Mae put out this statement, quote, "I'm encouraged by reports that Jerome Powell is considering resigning. I think this will be the right direction for America and the economy will boom." Now, I have not read any reports, and I read a lot of reports all throughout the day from various news sources, websites, articles on what's going on with the Fed. I have not seen anything today, or really over the past couple of weeks, that Jerome Powell is considering resigning. But the chairman of Fannie and Freddie says he thinks they are. And maybe there were some sources that came out a few days ago that saw this. This kind of caught me off guard. I think it caught a lot of people off guard. I mean, I don't think people expected an official director in the administration to actually say this was happening. S&P 500 right here is basically down 0.27% of the day. It was a little bit green. Now it's basically looking like it's going to close red. I don't know. Bullish or bearish? Bullish or bearish? Let's do that poll in the chat. And the way to kind of factor it out is like it's bullish because whoever is going to replace Mr. Powell will be like a dove, right? And they're going to be cutting rates pretty damn soon, whether it's Kevin Warsh, Bessent, whoever may be. But it also makes you wonder how much the administration is strong-arming the independence of the Fed. And I know when I make that argument, a lot of people say, well, the Fed's not independent anyway, so why should we care? I get it. But still, it's one of those things that definitely makes you wonder kind of what's going on. So if Powell resigns, bullish or bearish? What do you think? Bullish or bearish? Now, it's way better than Trump firing him. That would be like the administration literally just taking away an independent official or the head of a body, the head of an independent body. But if he resigns himself, I mean, if you quit your job, you quit your job, right? And at the end of the day, that may be one way that Trump gets the pressure to stick on Powell. Now, one thing you could say here is that this is just going to make him, this is just going to make Powell even more hawkish. Like, could you imagine they're like trying to put all this pressure on Powell? I mean, one argument here is that there is no report that Powell's considering resigning, and this guy's literally making it up, and he's making it up to try to create the pressure for Powell to resign. And if it doesn't work, what if Powell just says, screw you guys, I have until May 2026. By the way, Trump is the one who appointed Powell back in 2017, right? And then what if Powell hikes? What if we have so many tariffs on August 1st? Powell's like, you know what? We actually have to raise rates. I don't think that would happen, but you got my point, right? Like, I don't know if this is going to have the type of impact that people are thinking it's going to have. And we have zero confirmed reports, at least none that I've seen, that Powell is actually considering to resign. So this could be fake news, but this is a government official putting this out right now, which is why it's making the headlines as we get into the market close. 68% of you say it would be bullish. I do think it would be bullish if we get rate cuts, but the way it happens, you never know. I mean, markets across the world just might be uneasy if Powell decides to leave simply because of Trump. Then again, where else are they going to invest, right? At the end of the day, America has the best companies. So it's one of those things that we have to look into. Robinhood right here, 98. Robinhood was at 101.50 today. We're not going to get that 101 close. SoFi was trying to get to 22. We're probably not going to get that 21.50 close. Maybe. We have about 10 minutes left. And the reason for that, along with PayPal being down 5%, is because of this. This was the next headline that we had in the past 30 minutes. Jpmorgan tells fintechs they have to pay up for customer data. So Jpmorgan sent a memo to the Plaids of the world, I don't know specifically of the Robinhoods and SoFis of the world, but there were some companies that were mentioned. That Plaid is one of the main fintechs that connects your bank account to a Robinhood or a SoFi. I know Robinhood uses them. I don't know if SoFi does. And essentially, they're saying, hey, if you want the type of customer data that we've been providing you, we're not just going to give you access to our essentially APIs for free anymore. You're going to have to start paying up. I don't really think this has much of an impact on Hood or SoFi. Maybe a little bit more on PayPal, which is why that one's getting hit 5.2%. I guess they work more they're more in an integrated fashion in terms of how much they connect with the credit cards and debit cards from a Jpmorgan. But realistically, like Jpmorgan charging a little bit of an extra fee is not going to destroy PayPal's operating margins or Robinhood's margins or SoFi's margins. By the way, Google right here back above 180, 1.54%. That would be super bullish if it closes above 180. So yeah, that was the headline that took all of these names down in the fintech space. I think it would be, really stupid if the street gets upset that like they're going to have to pay a couple more fees. I mean, at the end of the day, Jpmorgan probably has some pricing power and there's probably going to be some negotiations that get done. But realistically, I think a lot of these names are running super hot and the market wanted to sell them off. I mean, even Palantir was trying to push 145 today. That one's getting sold off. Tesla actually doing its thing. Tesla announced that they're coming to India and they're having their first launch event in Mumbai next week. That one rallying a little bit at 1.25%. A lot of people are buzzing about Grok 4. We actually used Grok 4 today on the live stream and it actually found a clip from like 8 months ago directly at the moment we needed to see that clip. So very interesting stuff. And then NVIDIA did hit 167.89 today. That one's selling off a little bit as well. 165 is what we got on NVIDIA. Shout out to Nick. I worked at Plaid. I love it. It's a great service, a great fintech. I think their valuation is like 13 billion if I'm not wrong. And that will be an IPO that I think a lot of people look forward to. Oh no, never mind. 6 billion. Their valuation. They raised on April 3rd. Wow. April 3rd, 6 billion. Oh, it's down from 13 billion. Okay, so 2021 it was 13 billion. Now it went down to 6 billion, which is probably, the healthy thing they had to do. So this one's probably a 2026, 2027 IPO that we might end up seeing. So those are the main headlines. The big one is Powell is reportedly, I use reportedly with a lot of emphasis right here, thinking of resigning based on what the chairman of the board of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac said. And if that is false, then I guess, markets will have to move on from that. But if that's true, that's big news. If that's true, that's big news, because if he actually does resign, we're going to get rate cuts pretty damn soon. Let me see the probabilities on these September cuts. We got about 8 minutes until the market closes. Steve will be on today. I was just on the phone with him. He is feeling a lot better. So he should be able to join the stream today in about 20 minutes. And we'll get his thoughts on the market, try to get his Salesforce thesis, and he can brag about XRP because I know he's going to do that. Probabilities for September cuts, 62%. They went down, folks. They were at 64 yesterday. They went down 62. There you go. That one is down. XRP right here, 284. Now, in the midst of all the volatility today, Bitcoin has held its ground. 118. Still holding. Now, BMNR has not. This one was a little bit ugly, down about 13%. We're going to listen to Tom Lee in a second because he did another interview on BMNR. But you do have Bitcoin doing its thing. Ethereum as well. Is that back above 3,000? Ethereum is just above 3,000. So Bitcoin all-time high, we hit 118.9, almost at 119. And it's just chilling. And 118,000, which is not too bad right here. Trump did talk to the media before he went to Texas, and he said a bunch of things about Powell as well. Nothing too crazy from what we have been getting over the past couple of weeks. Vlad ended up meeting the ambassador to the UK, the U.S. ambassador to the UK, Warren Stevens. And as you can see right here, Vlad met with him. He said, insightful meeting with Vlad, CEO of Robinhood, to discuss the expanding role of transatlantic investment. U.S.-UK financial innovation is driving new opportunities and strengthening our economic partnership. So even though the Florida AG is launching a probe into Robinhood, the U.S.-UK ambassador is happy to meet Vlad and hopefully continue a good relationship with the two nations. Robinhood did expand into the UK late December of 2023. So that is definitely a market that they are trying to capture as well. So that's kind of the main headlines of the day. I mean, we got some other stuff that we'll talk about, but crypto's been moving the right way today. Ethereum, Bitcoin, and XRP, and everything else has been relatively flat. Circle down about 8% on the day. I don't know what the headline is here, but Circle's been taking a little bit of a beating. Apple flat on the day. Elf's just been crushed this whole week. This one down about 4.75%. We didn't talk about Levi's in the morning, but we talked about them on the market close. They had a massive earnings. They're up 10%. They beat EPS by 69%. They raised the dividend, and they said tariffs are not an issue for demand. So Levi, one of the best companies to start off earnings in the retail space. And then Delta also had a great earnings. They were up 9% yesterday. They're basically flat on the day, 56.74 on Delta. All the drone companies also, massive day for them. UMAC, Red Cat, Arrow, Dpro, Kratos, all these guys up almost 10 to 15% each, given the momentum from Pete Hegseth talking about how the DoD is going to invest more in drones. And Google above 180, which is also very, very nice to see. Adam Med, thank you for becoming a channel member. Really appreciate it. And Darth Enduro, thank you for becoming a channel member. I appreciate it. Siege, thank you for the $5 super chat. Futu is up 4% today, currently right now. Futu is, we looked at this 2 days ago. I love the currently right now. Futu is the Chinese version of, like, call it Robinhood, Webull combined. I mean, it's like a Chinese financial services brokerage platform. So this one is a $16.8 billion company, not a small cap, but it is a Chinese company. And I think they own Moomoo, if I'm not wrong. But they're the parent company for a bunch of different financial institutions and different brokerages. So that's what we got. Any headline on Lemonade? I don't think there's any headline on Lemonade I've seen, other than the fact it's down 4% today. That Oscar has been taking a beating today, down 8%. Look, it is what it is. This is the nature of chasing, right? And this is not even a stock that I think is a meme stock by any sense of the imagination. But nonetheless, when it's rallying as much as it is, and if you're just jumping into it, it is by definition chasing. And you have to kind of live with the consequences of if it goes down. Same thing with BM&R. It's just the difference is BM&R, you're paying 10 times NAV for their Ethereum. With Oscar, you're paying for a real business. It's just a question of, do you actually care about the business when it drops and want to add on the dip, or do you just feel like you're bag holding something that you bought for the hell of it? And that, you know, that just comes with the ultimate due diligence for why you stepped into this name. But again, the reason this is down, and Chris talked about it on the morning, is that they are not as established as a company as UNH. UNH is actually up on the day as the other insurance names go down, because you might have some investors saying, okay, there might be some bearish elements of the big, beautiful bill around healthcare in general, but UNH is so undervalued and they're so big as a company that we'd rather buy UNH. And the Oscars and the Lemonades of the world are smaller insurance companies. They're growing way faster than UNH, but as a result, they're going to be discounted. And that either is an opportunity for the bulls, or it's a continuation of the bear case for those that feel that they're not the best opportunities in this market. And over time, you know, we are going to see how this ends up playing out. Oscar is an investment, not a trade. Yeah, I would agree with that. Oscar was a trade at one point, and now, I mean, it's always been an investment, but when it was really running and had momentum, that's when it was a trade. So I think if you buy Oscar, you're buying it for the long term versus buying it for a quick flip from 15 to 16. CoreWeave and Nebius both also taking a beating today. I don't really know what the main headline was, other than maybe people woke up and they said, hey, maybe paying $85 billion for a GPU reseller is like not the smartest idea. Not saying that they're a bad business. It's just that there's a lot of components to CoreWeave that, you know, you could get away from by investing in like the actual company that makes the GPUs, aka Nvidia. Nebius right here also down 4%. I think that's just following CoreWeave. I don't think that's anything specific on Nebius itself. And then BM&R after the bell, we will talk about it. Tom Lee did another interview. Again, a lot of people just they got into this name for his brand and for his, you know, excitement, and that's fine. It's just you got to be ready to hold at that point, because you are paying a premium against NAV for their Ethereum. And he's talked about it yesterday. It's like MicroStrategy. It also took time for the thesis to play out. Bitcoin had to go up 5x for MicroStrategy to go up 25x. He thinks that'll happen with Ethereum, but if it doesn't, you know, that's where you're going to have, that's the risk in investing. But if it does, which I think Ethereum will do well, then it's just a question of how well does the beta play to it, BM&R do. That is going to be the long-term question that I think a lot of people have to figure out. So also IPOs usually tank a few weeks after going public. That is also true. And that could also be explaining some of the volatility on CoreWeave, because CoreWeave pumped, bro. That was a very successful IPO. It was, I mean, it was up 300%, and then it went up another 300%. So I think that one taking profits is not that crazy either. All right, folks, here we go. Friday. We also probably have a sell-off across the market because it's Friday. You know, people take some profits. It is what it is. But we are ending out the second week of Q3. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We got a lot of headlines to talk about. We'll have Steve on in a little bit. It is Friday. Oh, today's 7/11, July 11th. Wow, it's 7/11. Huh. This should be like National Indian Heritage Day or something. Anyway, July 11th, 4 p.m. Thank you, everybody, for being here. The stock market is now closed. I can make that joke. Okay. I'm Indian. I can make that joke. I'm Indian. And it's true. You go to a 7-Eleven, you know, we're going to be there. We're going to be there. But we own the damn thing. We own the damn thing. It's entrepreneurship. It's capitalism. So there you go. Pound here, 142.05 on the day, down about 0.32%. Robinhood It had a beautiful day, and then the Jpmorgan thing kind of hit it off. I also think people took some profits. 98.30 on Robinhood, down about 0.4%. Tessie, great day, 313. This thing was 288 on Friday. So you can't be too mad. I mean, you had the America Party tweets all throughout Sunday. That's what really tanked this thing down about 7%. Now it's back to 313. So not too crazy. The day before the America Party tweets, Tesla was at 312. So it actually ended up since he tweeted about the America Party in the midst of all this volatility. NVIDIA, 164.98, the second day in a row that it closes above 4 trillion. S&P 500 down about 0.36% on the day, 623. AMD, wow, AMD 146. I didn't see that all day. There you go. AMD got back above 145, hit 147 at one point. AMD, great day, up 1.5%. SoFi gets another day, closing above 21. Google finally gets above 180 on the close. Not too bad. Grab closes exactly at $5. Good volume coming in to Grab today as well, which is nice. Reddit right here, 146. That's up about 2.3%. Amazon, 224. Meta, 717. Salesforce, 257. That one down 2.5% of the day. Not sure why, but we'll have Steve come on to talk more about Salesforce. PayPal right here, 71. That got hit with the Jpmorgan fintech, essentially new payment processing that they put out in terms of how they have to pay for customer data. Apple right here, 210. Alpha was down about 4%. SMCI down 2.2. AppLovin down 2.7. Circle down 7.5. Coinbase had a great week, touched 400 last night, but was down today. 386 is what we have on Coinbase. Let me bring up the stock draft and see how we ended out for the second week of Q2. I think it's not really going to change from what we had yesterday. So Matt's up 11.68%. Tanner's up 6.87%. I'm up 2.53%. Steve's up 1.4%. Chris is negative. So it's Matt, Tanner, Amit, Steve, Chris. Chris right now is negative. I think Google and Elf are the ones. Well, Google's good today, but Elf is mainly the one that's hurting him. And Novo. For Matt, Rocket Labs have been great. For me, Hood's been great. For Steve, Netflix, Microsoft, MicroStrategy has been great for Steve. That's been helping them. For Tanner, AppLovin and Coinbase have been, or AppLovin's been the worst. Coinbase and TSM and NVIDIA have been the best. Nubank also is actually up since when he bought it. Shopify was down today. He's still up on Shopify, but Shopify was down 3.4%. I don't know what the headline was on Shopify, but that one took a little bit of a hit on the day as well. There you go. There you go. That's what we got for ending out this Friday. When is Amit opening up a 7-Eleven? You know, I want to open up a Dunkin' Donuts one day. I don't want to open up a 7-Eleven, but I feel like I need to have a Dunkin' Donuts one day. It's just they're not good businesses, bro. Like you have to put up $1 million up front, and then you have all this work to manage the business. You have to hire employees. You have to make sure the facilities are clean because you're dealing with food and coffee and all this stuff. And then you have to pay property taxes and a rent. It's like, it's just aggressive, bro, having these brick and mortar stores. So, but I feel like one day I still got to do it. I got to have a Dunkin' Donuts. I got to have a Dunkin' Donuts. Imagine a market open at Dunkin'. Yes, dude. It'll be my Dunkin', so I can do anything. It'll be my Dunkin'. Dude, we got to do it just for that. All right, so we got a bunch of headlines. Steve should be on in about 20 minutes, and then we'll get through all of it. Here's the first thing I want to show everybody. Tom Lee did another interview today talking a little bit about what's going on with Ethereum. So we'll look at that in a second. Before that, real quick, Elon Musk and XAI, they are looking to raise at a $200 billion valuation. $200 billion valuation. This is kind of cool, right? Like XAI was worth $130 billion. They bought X for $45 billion. They've been making great progress on Grok. I think it makes sense that Elon's trying to raise that $200 billion. A, because you have tons of AI companies that aren't even that like good raising at ridiculous valuations, and Elon's actually like building something meaningful with XAI. B, they just released Grok 4, and Grok 4 is better than supposedly every other model based on the benchmarks that came out yesterday. I know it's early, but still, I mean, if there was any time where investor interest would be ready to capitalize on a new funding round, I mean, I think it's Elon. $200 billion is not, $5 trillion. I think there's maybe there are definitely investors out there that would be willing to buy. And as a result, I think that's why it does make sense that Elon is raising at these levels. The Plute guy that cited a source that cited him for the Powell resolution. Yeah, this one was actually hilarious. So the guy who's the chairman of the board of directors for Fannie and Freddie, so he's the one who came out with the statement that Powell might be resigning. And then the weird thing about it is he then tweeted an article that cited his statement, citing the source for why Powell is resigning. I mean, it makes you think that this is all, just like a joke. So again, he put this out and then he retweeted an article from the street that says Fed Chair Jerome Powell reportedly considers resigning, but it's him who's the source, who's tweeting the source. So it's like, I don't know, dude. It doesn't feel like it's real. I don't think Jay Powell's the type of guy who will tell you, he'll give you the middle finger to your face. I mean, Jay Powell, he's a nice guy, but we've also seen him become, a little raunchy and mean when he needs to be. So I don't think it's crazy for Jay Powell to say, just screw you guys. I'm going to stay as the Fed chair. And maybe this is fake news. Maybe this is not. But ultimately, we are going to find out. All right, here is Tom Lee today doing a little bit of some press on Ethereum, why he likes it, and ultimately what would be the logic behind the Ethereum treasuries versus just Ethereum itself. Let me just pull this up right here.
To me, is really going to be where Wall Street meets crypto, because that's where you're tokenizing.
He's the CIO of Ethereum Treasury strategy as opposed to owning an Ethereum ETF.
When someone buys an Ethereum ETF, they're buying a single unit of Ethereum. And for as long as they hold that ETF, that amount of quantity of Ethereum is going to be basically fixed. Whereas an Ethereum Treasury stock actually has a lot more optionality to increase the Ethereum held per share.
Fascinating. Or even I would say probably than buying Ethereum directly.
Correct. That's right. You're letting an entity then try to help you acquire more Ethereum. And again, as these Ethereum Treasury strategies get to become large parts of the Ethereum network, they're actually helping the ecosystem.
Another company helping the crypto ecosystem is MicroStrategy, co-founded by billionaire entrepreneur Michael Saylor. It started as a business intelligence company and has recently become notable for its significant investments in Bitcoin.
The other appeal too for a company like MicroStrategy is that people can sort of bet on Bitcoin and use money that's in the stock market. So anybody who has a hedge fund, they can make that bet. Is that kind of what you're trying to do here as well, with people can sort of get exposure to Ethereum without maybe investing in it directly?
Oh, that's right. MicroStrategy is very unique because he has what I call a sovereign put. He has 600,000 Bitcoin. He has so much Bitcoin that when the United States or Qatar or the UAE decides they want to get 1 million Bitcoin on their balance sheet as a nation, it's going to be easier for those countries to buy MicroStrategy. So he'll always trade at a premium to the Bitcoin, because if the US wanted to buy 1 million Bitcoin in the open market, the price of Bitcoin would go stratospheric. I think Ethereum has a Wall Street put, because as the Goldmans and the Jpmorgans want to be big in the stablecoin market, they're also going to want to make sure that the underlying layer 1 is super secure. So as a public chain, they're going to want to own a large stake in Ethereum. So the Ethereum treasury strategies have what I call a Wall Street put, because they're basically moving in front of what Wall Street probably ends up doing.
So that's what he said today. Nothing too different from what happened yesterday. I think, a lot of people, again, are really confused on exactly what's going on with BMNR. And quite frankly, I think it's just because, again, no one really understood why they were buying it. They just saw Tom Lee's the chairman of the board and they started buying it. I think very few people actually understood the strategy, Ethereum treasury, yada, yada. But I do think there's a lot more people, either because they're backholding and they're forced to learn about what's BMNR, or because now that it's down from 160 to 40, they're saying, hey, maybe there's an opportunity here. And maybe this is MicroStrategy 2.0 in the context of Ethereum. I do not think it's a Ponzi scheme or anything like that. If that's the case, you would say MicroStrategy is a Ponzi. And I know some people believe that. But at the end of the day, it's just a holding company for Bitcoin that's using their key performance indicator, not as earnings per share, but Bitcoin per share. And you have a market that is thriving with options and volatility that actually cares about betting for or against the way Saylor is accumulating Bitcoin. I think the exact same thing is going to happen for BitMine. Now, what's really important about this is that we don't have options yet on BMNR. And I think when we have options, like you can sell calls and puts, buy calls and puts against it, that's when this thing gets very exciting. Because when you have the ability to actually trade options on BMNR, you are going to get tons of different ETFs, probably get levered against BMNR, and you're going to get a lot of call buyers and call sellers, which means there's going to be more buying of the underlying, which is BMNR. And as a result, that in and of itself is what leads to so much capital flowing into MicroStrategy, because you have so many people that have to buy the actual stock for their option strategy, which would obviously be very bullish for the underlying. So from that perspective, that could be one of the things to watch out for. But this week was a horrendous week. 160 to 40 is a bit disgusting. And the question just is, do you have faith in this overall Ethereum strategy? SoFi right here, 2130. Google, don't really know why Google was up on the day. I don't think there was a headline outside of like 3 different Wall Street firms, again, reiterating their $200 price target on Google, which is fine. I mean, it's Google. At this point, you either believe it's undervalued or not, but earnings is going to be the key differentiator to see if a lot of these companies are correct, or a lot of these firms are correct on their thesis when it comes to Bitcoin. SBET has options. That is correct. This one was actually up about 15% today. Yeah, 16.5%. So I think the options are coming pretty soon. And when it does come, you're going to get a lot more people that are excited. All right. Now, here was something else that happened today. This was released about an hour before the market closed right here. We actually got a surplus, folks. We got a surplus for the first time in a while in the month of June.
Hey, Kelly, always our best look at tariff revenue every month. But first, top line, it was a mixed bag this month for the U.S. Treasury. On an unadjusted basis, the U.S. government had a $27 billion surplus for the month. And that compares with about a $20.5 billion deficit expected among economists surveyed by Dow Jones. But then if you look at an adjusted basis, this accounts for standard calendar differences month to month. The U.S. ran a $70 billion deficit in June. So big difference there. Fiscal year to date, the U.S. is running a $1.3 trillion deficit, almost exactly matching its pace from this time a year ago. Then on the tariff revenue, that's the other key figure here. The U.S. took in $27 billion in June in customs duties. It's the category that includes all tariff revenue, so it's a little broader than Trump's tariffs alone, but it has been growing this year as the tariffs have kicked into effect. So far this calendar year, the Treasury has taken in $87 billion in customs duties, so that's roughly how much has come in since Trump has been in office. One final thing, Treasury is definitely taking in more in tariffs, but it's taking in significantly less now in corporate taxes. Those were down 17% for the month of June, and a Treasury official said that was likely due to anticipation of what they called preferable expensing and deduction provisions, including in Trump's mega bill. Guys.
That fact is something Brian Reynolds, some of the market watchers have picked up on. They're a little worried about what it could signal for earnings season. You also wonder if it's just the give and take, more tariff revenue, but a little less corporate tax revenue.
So we do have a surplus if you adjust it. But then if you do it on a month-to-month basis, it turns into a deficit. I mean, this is one of those things where even if, the administration boasts that we have a surplus and we have all this tariff revenue, what Jay Powell and the Fed is worried about is, okay, what did we have to go through to get to that surplus? Because if we had to go through some stuff that wasn't good, aka, inflation, which we're not going to see for the next couple months unless it pops up in the data, then that is the, give and take that we get for having this surplus. So we're going to see. I mean, I think we get CPI next week. I mean, next week's a big week for data. We get CPI, we get jobs, we get PPI, PCE. So we're going to get a lot of data next week as we head into the second half of July. And it's pretty much going to determine, if we actually do get that rate cut in September. We're definitely not getting it in July. I think we all know that. Bitcoin right here, 118.1. But, can we get that ready to go for September? Eder, thank you for the $5 super chat. I'm all in QQQ waiting to move to real stocks as everything is at all-time high. Should I make the move without considering that I will enter in the wrong time? This is one of the hardest questions, right? I mean, like if you're all in the queues and you feel like everything's topping, theoretically selling now and then waiting for a better entry makes more sense. However, can you time it? And also, when do you get into the queues? If you got in last month, maybe trying to wait for another 5% dip to get back there doesn't make the most sense. If you got in 2 years ago, you're up so much that holding on to the queues, you're probably not going to go back to levels that you've seen from 2 years ago. I think, obviously, Chris talked about it this morning as well. There is some froth that we're seeing in the market, but we're also seeing some of that froth not get crazy. Circle, I think all of us can agree, although it's a great company and it's going to be the de facto stablecoin, it got frothy when it got to $298. It's not there anymore. It's at $187. BMNR was a little frothy when it got to $160 in 2 days after being at $4. So 4 to 160, nice little 40x. It's not there anymore. It's back at 40. So I think from that perspective, you are seeing some of the froth coming out of the market, even though, we still do have a decent amount in there. IWM, small caps are interesting. I've been reading up a little bit more on small caps. Again, the thesis on their relative earnings growth compared to the S&P is that they are going to outperform based on earnings growth. However, it's just, do you really want to trust the small cap companies if theoretically there is a recession, which let's say that doesn't happen still? Are you more comfortable buying NVIDIA, Oracle, Meta, Amazon, Google, etc., or an ETF that has a bunch of small companies that have a ton of debt and that ultimately need rate cuts to benefit? Now, the rate cut could be a tailwind for them, but if we don't get a lot of rate cuts, the companies that aren't affected by rate cuts like NVIDIA just feel like more safer investments. So I think IWM is fine. It's just, how safe or risky do you want to be as we get into the end of the year? 4 million in puts spiked on the S&P just before the close. So I saw that option flow. Another option flow that I saw, and this will be very bullish for all the Tesla folks here. Someone bought $500,000 worth of May 2026 Tesla $540 calls. So you are getting the Tesla options flow start to come back and be more bullish. But that 4 million it puts on the S&P, I mean, I don't know, feels a little bit more like hedging, as the S&P is basically at all-time highs. So that's what we got. How do you see rate cuts impacting Hood? It should be really bullish. Now, again, their net interest income will go down for, I think, about 25 million based on every 25 basis points we get a rate cut. So if you do get a rate cut, take off 25 million on Hood's top line net interest income, but you're going to get more trading volumes because theoretically growth assets should do well. More people should want to invest. More people should want to trade, etc. So lack of rate cuts is actually not bad for Hood at all. They make money in both ways. But if you do get a rate cut, the premium you put on a growth stock in and of itself goes up. And then the premium you put on the trading volumes supposedly should go up because more people should trade if we have lower rates. And the simple logic here is that if you have, again, 7 trillion in money market funds and people want to take those money market funds out of getting 4% instead of 4.25%, they're going to put it into a Schwab, a Fidelity, a Robinhood, and they're going to trade, or they're going to at least invest. And as you engage in that process, Robinhood is what makes money from those trading volumes. So I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Now, if we get rate cuts because the economy is breaking, yes, that's not good for Hood, but that's not good for any company. So it's not really a Hood thing. It's more so, going to affect every single stock. But if we get rate cuts because inflation is coming down, then that's probably a better way to think of it. Here are some of the headlines we had to end out the day as well, including some of the Jpmorgan stuff and software stocks that have been underperforming these semiconductor names.
Let's start with software stocks because they have been under pressure this week, and the reasons are just piling up. The IGV ETF is down about 3%. And to pick your reason, you got Piper downgrading Workday, new CIO surveys, specifically one from Morgan Stanley, that point to weaker IT spending. And this, according to Jefferies, Broadcom CEO Hock Tan warned that AI could erode long-term software value, saying Broadcom won't pursue more software deals right now. You're seeing Palo Alto, Datadog down 11.5%, Salesforce down 5%. These are just examples, a sea of red within that sector. Let's switch over to fintech stocks because those also took a hit late in the day today after a Bloomberg report said Jpmorgan plans to charge fintech firms like Venmo, Coinbase, Robinhood for access to their customer bank data, something they've mostly gotten for free up until possibly now. And that's why you're seeing shares of PayPal, for example, down almost 6% today. CoreWeave, another big name, dropping 9% after you pick it. Multiple downgrades earlier this week tied to its $9 billion deal for Core Scientific. Analysts are skeptical of the cost. And with the IPO lockup expiring in September, some investors may be heading for the exits a little early. And lastly, Kraft Heinz is higher today, closing higher on a Wall Street Journal report. It's exploring a breakup, potentially spinning off a chunk of its grocery business in a deal that could be worth up to $20 billion. That's why shares closed 2.5% higher, John.
All right, Christina, thank you. Meantime, bond yields rising once again.
So those are some of the updates around fintech software, CoreWeave, and the corresponding way that some of these names have been impacted as we get into the end of the year, along with Kraft Heinz, which is, one of those stocks that's still out there. We don't look at Kraft Heinz that often, but I think the reason investors buy this is for the divvy. I mean, KHC, 6% yield. Yeah. So that's why people buy. Market cap at 32 billion. How is this stock done? Is it positive this year? I think it's 10%. Never mind. Down 11%. Yeah. This just wasn't one of those names that worked out over the long term when Buffett was getting deep into it. So I looked at Jenny. I've heard of this stock. This is essentially this is your best way to buy the NFL without the NFL being traded publicly. Jenny, GENI, $2.6 billion company. They engage in the provision of scalable technology-led products and services to the sports betting, and sports media industry. It also involves the sports league, which offers technology infrastructure for the collection, integration, and distribution of live data. They work with a lot of different leagues. The NFL is one of their biggest clients. I have not gone that deep into them, but I've heard of this one. Year to date, it's up 20%. A lot of people think it has a shot to break out. This is one that maybe would require a deep dive as we get into it. But again, it is a small cap, not a micro cap, but it is at $2 billion. So it's an interesting company. And I couldn't even tell you exactly how they aggregate and collect data to be able to feed to some of these major leagues, but that is essentially the business and how they navigate. SoFi right here, yes, getting some love, closing above 20. Surf Air Mobility also, big day for them, up 15%. I think this is just pure hype, bro. I'm going to be honest. I haven't seen it. Let me know if I'm wrong. If there's any headline that justifies Surf Air Mobility being up as much as it's up over the past couple of weeks, outside of a short float that's high and a small number of shares outstanding, but it's up 117% in the past 6 months. It's up 250% over the past month. I don't know. This one feels like a lot of momentum. And by the way, we've seen this happen, and we've seen it also come back down. Big Bear AI, down she goes, 9% down. Pumped up to 870. If you bought in anywhere in that 7 to 8 range, you are bag holding. If you bought in at 5, which is not usually when people buy in, because that's when the pump is just starting, and most people get towards the end of the pump versus at the beginning, unless you're really good at this, which most people, including myself, are not. And then you have these days. Why is Big Bear down 9%? I don't know. But why was it up 10% last week? I don't know. It's the nature of momentum. It's ultimately how it plays out. Yeah, so Palantir backing Surf Air Mobility is not the bull case for Surf Air. Like, just because Palantir is working with a company doesn't mean the company is going to go to the moon, right? Like valuation, like what the company does, et cetera. Palantir might have an equity stake in them, but that, unless they announce some major new deal with Palantir, which to my knowledge, they haven't done. It's great for Palantir because their equity is worth more, but it doesn't mean that just because they're associated with Palantir, this thing has to go to the moon. I mean, Palantir works with UNH as well, which is good because long-term UNH, should be able to use Palantir software to recover, but that doesn't mean that UNH deserves to be 400 tomorrow. So I think it's just pure hype on Surf Air. I think it's just pure hype. Where is SoundHound today? So Big Bear fell 10%. SoundHound also fell 5%. A lot of these taking some profits right here, or people taking some profits right here. How about Poet? That stock, that was up this Monday. That was up about 1.28%. I know if people are interested in this, Ticker Symbol U has done videos on this. So if you go to his channel, you can watch some of those videos. They're involved in a variety of different industries, particularly around data communications and telecommunications, along with developing and manufacturing different solutions for that industry. I think there's some use case in the semiconductor space for them as well, if I'm not wrong, but I don't know enough about this. But that stock right here was up about 1.2% on the day. Yeah, Sezzle's another one. Sezzle's a fintech, right? If I'm not wrong. Sezzle right here. This one was down 9% on the day. This is a $4 billion company. Is it a fintech or is it? Hold on. It's a payment platform that enables bank-to-bank transfers of money for consumers and businesses. This stock year to date, wow, 200%. This and Dave are the two fintechs I think everyone missed. We were so obsessed with Hood and SoFi that we kind of didn't see Dave and Sezzle. Dave is the best performing stock in the stock market in the past 5 years. Like Dave's stock, if you look at it from the past year, look at that, 457%. Past 6 months, 147%. Past month is down. Year to date, it's up 134. So this one has been pretty incredible. Don't have many opinions on ABCL. I'm still trying to work on that deep dive with Arnie and Jack because I know they talk about it a lot. Hopefully we'll be able to do that soon. Arnie's traveling this week, so he's not going to make Palantir Weekly either. But yeah, whenever we get a chance to do that, we will talk more about ABCL and go deeper from there. All right, Steve just texted me. He said 5 minutes, so he'll be on in about 5 minutes. And we'll get him on to the show as well. D-Wave, how did that one do today? Quantum, QBTS. This one was down about 6%. All right, so you had a lot of high beta names take a little bit of a hit. Obviously, the Robinhoods and the Palantirs were doing well in the morning. They went down a little bit. Some of the more beta names got hit harder. Google right here at 180, SoFi 2130, and then NVIDIA did get that second day of the $4 trillion close. Here was Trump earlier this morning talking to some of the reporters, and here's some of the stuff that he said.
Terrible thing, but we're going to be there with Some of the great families and others, the governor, everybody. So what is the message
Will you plan to talk to the president about the tariffs?
Maybe at some point I'll talk to him. Right now, I'm not. They're treating.
It's a little hard to hear. I mean, we kind of talked about all the core things anyway. So this one, I don't think we're going to get anything that new from it. But basically, it was just, I don't like Powell, and we got to move on from there. This was actually the deeper headline that we saw today. I don't know how many people saw this one, but this one was also kind of a big deal. So Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino is reportedly, as per CNN, if CNN is right or not, we'll find out, thinking of resigning based on the Epstein Files memo. So CNN came out today and they said, hey, we have exclusive information that the Deputy FBI Director, if you remember this guy, he was one of the core people that essentially made a career. I mean, he got his name out there into the world for talking about how much of a tragedy it is that Epstein stuff did not come to light. And then he became the Deputy FBI Director. And now, we don't really have all the information around the Epstein files. So here's a little bit of that reporting. If it's right or not, we'll find out. But if it is, then that would be a big shakeup to the administration as well.
Files. Joining us right now on the phone is CNN anchor and chief White House correspondent Caitlin Collins. Caitlin, what more are you learning?
Yeah, Fred, it remains to be seen if he actually follows through with what he has told colleagues. But what we do know is that Dan Bongino has told people he is considering resigning as the deputy director of the FBI over the fallout that has continued ever since this memo was released last Sunday. The anger inside the MAGA base has only continued to grow instead of going away, as some officials inside hoped it would. And now our colleagues, along with Christian Holmes, Tanner Rabinowitz, and Evan Perez, we're hearing that he's considering resigning after they had this heated confrontation with the Attorney General Pam Bondi over the handling of this earlier this week. And basically there was a meeting at the White House where the FBI Director, Kash Patel, was there, the White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles. They were questioned about whether they were part of a story, that there was basically some infighting over how this came out, and this memo that said we're not going to be releasing any more information related to Jeffrey Epstein. And I should note that we are told Bongino denied leaking any story to this outlet that it was reported on. But there has been a lot of fighting between Attorney General Pam Bondi specifically and the leadership over at the FBI over who's to blame in this situation. I think the context here is obviously Dan Bongino, Kash Patel. They came from this MAGA world where they themselves had pushed a lot of questions about the so-called client list that Epstein had beforehand. And now the MAGA base is just not pleased or satisfied with what they.
And this is correct. The MAGA base is very, very upset. If you've listened to any pieces of news across the core networks that cover MAGA, which is Fox, Newsmax, etc., they're pissed off. And part of the reason they're pissed off is, look, I think there's a list, and I would imagine it's pretty obvious there's a list. But if these guys didn't for sure know there was a list, and they basically built their entire public persona on, hey, we're going to get into the feds and we're going to get the list out, and then there either isn't a list, which I disagree with, or they don't have the authority to get rid of the list because, you got the big guys who are actually running the show saying there's no way in hell you're putting that list out. That's going to piss off a lot of people. And that obviously can create a fundamental fraction between how they rose to prominence and ultimately what they're able to deliver from the position of power that they're in right now.
They've said in this memo that came out unsigned from the Justice Department and the FBI on Sunday night. So what we are told is Dan Bongino did not show up to work today, that he is essentially not there out of protest. But whether or not he actually follows through on this still remains to be seen. We're still reporting that out. But it just speaks to the backlash that the White House is very much feeling and understanding after this memo came out, despite President Trump the other day in the cabinet room asking, who still cares about this? One thing we know is the MAGA base certainly does.
All right, Caitlin Collins, thanks so much for that.
I mean, it's kind of wild, bro. If I was Dan Bongino or Kash Patel and I made my entire public persona of, hey, we're going to release the list, and then you don't release the list, and then Pam Bondi is on Fox News saying, yeah, I have the list on my desk, I'm reviewing it. And it's just like kind of logical. It's kind of hard for someone to be in jail for sex trafficking. And like, presumably there are people that did the sex trafficking and that were involved in the acts, which means there has to be some list, some level of details that they can put out unredacted. And every time they've tried to put out a list, it's always been redacted, which also proves there is a list. Because like if you're redacting something from the files they have put out, that's probably names that the public deserves to know about. But we don't have that information. And look, this week's been good for the markets, but this has been the single biggest fumble this entire week in the Trump administration's past 6 months of the second term. And I think every single person can agree on that. Like it's hard to disagree. No matter how much you support Trump, no matter how much you love him, no matter how much you agree with the MAGA base, it is really hard to justify not going through this. And it makes you question what the hell is going on. And, here's a good point. I heard this today. I haven't said this at all. I'm curious how many people thought about this. I'm curious how many people thought about what I'm about to say. Why isn't any high-ranking Democratic official using this moment, this fumble, as one of the biggest things they can use to shame the Trump administration? I don't see Chuck Schumer. I don't see AOC. I don't see Nancy Pelosi. I don't see Mamdani. I don't see anybody on the left side, which is supposed to be against Trump, using the most obvious fumble of this administration, which is not releasing the list, and saying, hey, I don't even see a single tweet from these guys. And they're quick to say anything about Trump. Why are they so quiet? Like, has anyone thought about that? I heard that today and I was like, holy crap. Like, we have every single independent news outlet, Tucker Carlson, you have all the independent media influencers talking about what's going on. Is this a conspiracy theory? We need to go into it. But you don't have the other party that they salivate for any little thing they can use to prove that Trump is the most evil person in the world and he's a horrible president. I mean, if his base is pissed off about this and you're not using this to your advantage, it kind of feels like both parties are heavily implicated in this. And as a result, no one wants to bring attention to it. I mean, one could argue that the Democrats are happy that Trump's doing this because now, eventually over time, no administration will be culpable to put it out. And it's one of those things that's very, very confusing, bro. Very, very, very confusing. But it makes sense. If both sides are in it, this is probably the reason why we haven't had details for the past two administrations, Trump 1.0 and then Biden, on any of this information. So AOC did tweet. Okay, I didn't see AOC's tweet. But again, AOC is not really mainstream Democrat either. So it actually makes sense that she would tweet about it. But the other ones, the Chuck Schumers, the Nancy Pelosi's, they use everything to get upset. Yeah, you're right. AOC did tweet about it. Okay. So, and that makes more sense. She's she doesn't give a shit about the Democratic Party. But the other high-ranking Democrat, I personally have not seen anyone step up or say anything about it. And that's probably because in Biden 1.0, they had the opportunity to say something and they didn't. So it's sad, dude. It is very, very sad. And I hope the story doesn't die out. I hope there are people that really, I hope there's some whistleblowers, quite frankly. But then again, if Dan Bongino becomes a whistleblower, the part of whistleblowing is you're putting your own life at risk, right? Because if they killed Epstein and he comes out and he starts blowing the whistle, who knows what happens? And so those are the things where the public would love to know, but also individual people that do know, they might not ever say it, which is the sad part about this. All right, let's listen to Dan Ives talking about NVIDIA and Jensen, who was at Trump's White House yesterday, or either it was early this morning or last night. And then we'll get some analysis there from NVIDIA. Steve should be joining in a couple minutes, and then we'll get Steve on the show.
Wedbush Securities Managing Director, Global Head of Technology Research. Dan, it is good to see you, my friend. I love the look today, Dan. It does look like, what it looks like, Dan? It looks like I'm interrupting your tea time. So I'm gonna get through this interview. We're gonna get through it real fast. I feel like you got places to go. Let's start with NVIDIA, Dan. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, he's on the way to China. We know there, Dan, he can't sell his latest and greatest chips, right? And it's costing his company a lot of money. I'm curious how you think this all plays out. Does he get Trump to reverse course? Does he find a workaround? What do you see ahead?
He's not going to the White House just to have lemonade with Trump. I mean, the point is, our view is that the restrictions when it comes to China, a lot of that ultimately will at some extent be lifted where NVIDIA can sell their chips into China. Remember, I mean, they're not going to just give $8 billion a quarter to Huawei on a silver platter. And it's all part of this negotiation that you see. But there's only one chip in the world fueling the AI revolution, and it's led by the godfather of AI, Jensen NVIDIA.
If he can't sell his latest and greatest in China, Dan, how does he make that up? Could demand from the sovereigns, the Saudis, the UAE, could that make it up?
Look, that can make it up. And I still think Street's underestimating growth by 20 to 30% in the next few years. But you do not want to give China just away to Huawei. I mean, that where NVIDIA can't touch it. And they know, and Jensen knows, that continues to be the biggest market incrementally that they're going after besides the US. And it's all part of this negotiation. You cannot just hand that business to Huawei. And that's why, look, it's all part of this high stakes negotiation.
So Jensen met him last night. He's on the way to China right now. We don't have any details. I haven't seen any reporting on how the meeting went. But hopefully, there was some progress on whenever this eventual China deal is officially signed, export controls go away. And if they do, at least they get eased up, then obviously that could be a massive tailwind for NVIDIA. I mean, if we can get to $4 trillion without China revenue is just the cherry on top then, if we can get it back towards the end of the year.
But there's only one chip in the world that's fueling it. And Trump knows a big poker chip that he has in negotiations is NVIDIA.
I'm sure there are some viewers, Dan, this week when they saw NVIDIA hit that milestone, right? They might have thought, hey, I missed my chance. I missed my opportunity. I know you feel differently. What are the catalysts that keep this one, in your opinion, moving higher?
I think 5 trillion and beyond are next, because it's my view. We're in a golden age for tech. It's led by NVIDIA, but it's speaking to the AI revolution. I mean, behind the velvet ropes, they're going to let Microsoft into the $4 trillion market cap club as well. When it comes to NVIDIA, this is still just the beginning of a 3-year tech bull market, and it's being led by Jensen.
Let's switch gears to another name I know you like, Dan, and that would be Tesla. You like the name. You don't seem happy with Elon Musk and how he's spending his time. He's right back into politics, right? Full speed ahead. He's going to create this American political party, this new political party. You laid out changes you want from the Tesla board, Dan. You say new pay package for Musk to 25% voting control, guardrails for the amount of time Musk spends at Tesla, and oversight in political endeavors. Does any of that actually happen, Dan? What odds would you give it?
Yeah, and obviously Musk didn't like, what we laid out. I believe the odds of that happening are ultimately just some combination more than 50% in terms of that. And especially when it comes to 25% voting right, what I view as an XAI merger, to me, that is ultimately sort of the next stage to where we see this all heading.
I have to ask you, Dan, only because we're showing the post there. When you lay this out, Elon Musk says, shut up, Dan. So the owner of X, on X, guy's worth $400 billion. He tells you to shut up. You saw that, Dan? What did you think and feel when you saw it?
Look, I mean, I knew Elon and knowing, for 20 years and him and following Tesla and being such a big support, he wasn't going to like it. But again, friends could disagree, right? And so hopefully,
are they friends? Are Elon and Dan friends? I don't know. I don't know if they're exactly friends.
Over the coming months, we're able to work out our differences. But as one of the biggest supporters of Tesla, we needed to do that. Given our view, that's what the board needs to do to ultimately move this forward. Tesla's going into its biggest stage of growth ever in autonomous and robotics. Musk needs Tesla, and ultimately the biggest asset continues to be Elon.
All right, so that's Mr. Dan Ives speaking about Tessie. We got to get someone onto the show, folks, who he's already smiling. He knows. He knows I got to do my intro. I don't have an intro song for him, so I got to do a real intro. 408 Thomas, thank you for becoming a channel member. Appreciate it. 408 Thomas, for being here. Look at that. We got all the caps locks in the chat, all the exclamation points. They know who's coming. I don't even need to do an intro, to be honest, because he's here. It's been 5 days. Had to throw Invection infection, whatever it is. He's back, not sick anymore. He looks healthy. He looks good. We're happy he's safe. Mr. Steven Fiorillo.
What's going on?
Dude, you didn't shave all week.
Dude, I freaking lost 10 pounds because I couldn't eat.
I can tell. You sound good, but you look a little roughed up. I can tell.
Freaking just started eating again 2 days ago. It's freaking wild.
Dude, can you grow out the beard?
Yeah, I haven't shaved in a week. This is what it looks like with a week.
You should I want to see you with a beard, bro. Like,
no, it's itchy. It's just no.
All right. Well,
I gotta shave at some point soon. It's getting annoying.
First of all, okay, how are you? Because everyone has deeply missed you. So how are you?
Good. Thank you, everybody, for reaching out on Twitter. Appreciate it.
They care about you. They need to make sure you're alive so you can give us all
great.
the information, you know?
They're great. Your buddy says hello.
What buddy?
I actually had 2 phone calls that were very interesting. Your buddy Alex just called me.
Alex who?
From Pokemon.
Oh, that's both of our friends. Yeah.
Nostalgianomics. He says hello.
Okay, he's crushing it, right? Like, I mean,
he's crushing it. And he asked me to come on his podcast next Friday, and he just told me that the entire wholesale market just got price increases, and it is wild what's going on behind the scenes with Pokemon. It's crazy. And I was looking at some of the boxes I bought recently. I bought a couple of boxes of this one set maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. They're already up 50%. It just doesn't make sense.
I mean, if Bitcoin's running, Pokemon's
it's crazy. It's crazy. Crazy.
Who was the other friend?
Well, your buddy Alex said hello. And then my other buddy called me and listen, the freaking sports card and TCG market is so crazy. He just did a private sale. He doesn't have a shop or anything. He's got somebody that buys from him. And he just had a 5-figure private sale today. It is wild. Wow.
Well, you got a lot of markets that are moving up and down. A lot of people think you got the throat infection because of the milk.
No, I was at a wake and there was a lot of people there, and I definitely picked something up at it, and that's how I got sick.
All right. Well, we got a lot of topics to talk about. I will be linking your Seeking Alpha articles right here in the chat. Everyone can check them out.
Oh, link the Cisco one. Listen, don't sleep on Cisco. I'm probably the only person that you know that's been bullish on Cisco for the past 2 years when nobody else was.
That is correct. You are. Oh, wow. Look at this, dude. I don't know if you saw this. You just had a strong buy. Some guy above you, Bay Area Ideas, has a sell.
Good for him. Don't know who he is. Don't care who. Actually, I don't even know is that he or she. Don't care who they are. And for them to put sell, they obviously don't know how to read financials. I don't know. Or I don't know how to read financials. I don't know. Maybe I don't know how to read financials. But Cisco generates over $10 billion a year in free cash flow. They allocate over $10 billion a year in buybacks and dividends back to shareholders, and they're partnering with NVIDIA, and they're becoming a dominant player in AI networking and security infrastructure stacks. So I don't think people realize what's coming with data centers and how important Cisco is going to be to connecting everything.
All right. So we'll talk about Cisco in a bit. I think we'll get this one out of the way because a lot of people are curious about your opinion on this one. SoFi, your covered calls, you don't have any. You have thousands of shares. It's at $20. You should feel happy.
Don't care.
See, this is you, regardless of how bearish you've been the past couple months.
I've never been bearish. It's just
annoyed. Annoyed is the better word. Annoyed is the better word.
Yeah. What's changed?
Well, the stock is up.
Okay, but what's changed with the company?
Nothing has actually changed at all, to be honest.
Exactly. It's just running because there are things that are overpriced right now. I'm not saying SoFi is overpriced, but there are things that are overpriced right now. And it's making me feel that it's annoying because there's pockets of the market, and it's always like this. They're very toppy.
Okay, but are you not enjoying being up thousands and thousands of dollars?
I'm not selling, so it doesn't change anything for me.
But this is, you know, I know they've done a lot of stuff over the past year and a half that's pissed you off and annoyed you, but this was one of the stocks you wrote about when it was like $7 and you had $15, $20 price. You've been aggressively bullish on this name for years. It just took a lot of time to play out, but now it's playing out.
Yeah, look, I'm not unhappy. Okay. I am happy. I still think it's a great management team. I think it's a great company, and I think they're doing a lot of good things. I am just still annoyed that we don't have clarity on RFPs. We don't have clarity about the AWS of FinTech. And if you don't have clarity on that, and if you don't have the vision on that, it's very hard to look at this as anything but a financial institution. And quite honestly, if I wanted to buy a financial institution, I either would have added more to Citigroup or I would have bought Jpmorgan.
What if this earnings, by the way, Dougie, thank you for the 5 gifted. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. What if this earnings is different and they actually do give us the clarity and the communication that's needed? Do you think that changes?
I'll give them all the praise in the world and I'll stop beating them up about it and say, finally, they communicate. Finally, they showed us something. Like, let's not forget that Citigroup is up 31% this year. And at the beginning, and last year it was paying a 3.5%, 4% dividend. Like, let's not forget that. So there are other financials that are doing well. It may not be doing it as well as SoFi, but Jpmorgan's up 37% this year. I mean, I don't know.
Okay. Before we get into Tessie, NVIDIA, you were one of the main contributors. I think honestly, you were the only contributor on my channel outside of Tanner. Tanner, I do a podcast with him and we talk about NVIDIA, but you were someone who like calls in every week. You were the only person who called into my channel that was pounding the table on NVIDIA. You got me to buy a lot more of it as well. Above 4 trillion. What was your reaction when you saw that this week?
Go, baby, go. I think we're going to be, I said it before, I'll say it again. I think Tanner's going to be right. I think I'm going to be wrong about price target. And I do think NVIDIA has a really good shot hitting 200 by the end of the year, maybe even 220. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, and if it does get to that 200, 220 range, we're talking, close to 5 trillion.
Pull up a 1-year chart.
NVIDIA over the past year, they're up 30%.
So look at the breakout. Like they consolidated for far too long and they completely whipsawed to the upside.
Yeah, basically for a year, it was flat, completely flat. 100 to 130, you could say.
And think about the earnings calls that we've had over the past year, blowout earnings calls, and it would just do nothing. Like this is where it should have been months ago.
Yeah.
This is not a fluke. They are potentially going to generate the most net income out of any Mag 7 company this year. It's either going to be them or Alphabet, one of the two. And NVIDIA is in a great position to generate the most net income. And guess what? When you're on track to generate 100 billion plus in profitability, I am so sick about hearing growth. Listen, profitability is what ultimately matters. NVIDIA is a freaking free cash flow machine, is a net income machine, and it keeps increasing the amount of profitability it generates, keeps increasing the buybacks, and that's going to monetize to additional EPS. This thing's going up.
So do you feel comfortable with the amount that you bought when it dipped, or do you wish you bought more?
I think everybody wishes they bought more. I should have bought more. I didn't want to sell anything. I didn't want to add cash from other accounts in.
But you do feel like happy that you really did buy the dip.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people bought the dip, and I'm happy I did. I just wish I, and this is the bad thing about covered calls. I didn't want to spend the money in retrospect, obviously I should have, to get out of the SL Green covered calls I have. And I could have just used all the money that was in SL Green to pour that into NVIDIA.
Right. Okay, that's what we got on NVIDIA. Yes, Tanner is right. Retail heavily bought the NVIDIA dip.
Yeah, and they should have. Look, NVIDIA is one of the greatest companies ever, and they're on track to be the most profitable company ever. And they have the best margins, I believe, out of all the Mag 7 companies. It's just their margins are incredible for a hardware company. It's incredible. They are SaaS margins as a hardware company. I don't even know if there's any SaaS companies that have the net income margins that they have.
Matt says, ask Steve why he blocked me.
I talked to him yesterday.
Real quick before we go to Tesla, Oscar, you were bullish. Market's given an opportunity. Are you touching this at all at 14?
I haven't been following it. Yeah, I mean, I gotta look and see if anything's changed. I don't think anything's changed.
Well, the big beautiful bill changed.
All right, so I mean, we gotta look and see what that really means for them.
Yeah, this one's been a bit ugly because a lot of people saw the bull case, and the bull case played out, but then that big beautiful bill just like became an overhang, and
so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Lemonade as well getting hit. UNH is the only one that's kind of.
Dude, I don't understand. People have been messaging me about they're so angry that I'm not bullish on Lemonade. I'm like, have you seen the numbers?
Yeah, some of you guys don't know this, but I think 2 weeks ago when Steve was on the show and he gave his Lemonade bear case, a lot of people in the Lemonade community somehow found that clip. And they just started tagging him on Twitter and saying he doesn't get it. He's an idiot. They just started going at him.
Oh, no. I get it. I'm looking at the numbers right now. They don't generate, take their interest and dividend income out of it, okay? They do not generate more than their operating expenses from their premium revenue. Why on earth would you want to invest in an insurance company that can't even cover their expenses from their premium revenue? I don't understand it.
Well, the bulls will say AI.
Right. Everybody can say AI. But guess what? Lemonade's never turned a profit. Like they don't, like if you had to pick Lemonade, or if I had to pick Lemonade or Oscar, I'm going to pick Oscar.
Yeah.
Because Oscar's freaking numbers actually make sense when I read the financials. Now, I'm not saying that Lemonade can't turn this into a winning story. I'm just saying that right now, I don't like what I see in the financials. And that's hurt me a lot of times when investing.
Right. 100%.
So don't go by what I say.
Breaking news. Canada has delayed their retaliatory tariff plans on U.S. steel and aluminum.
No shit.
Dude, we're not doing this stupid 35% tariff on them. We're going to get a deal.
They know that it's not going to be 35%, and they know that their only play is to make a deal. So, yeah, let's see what happens next week.
Yeah. Do you think August 1st there's a chance that Cambodia gets a 30% tariff and all these other countries?
Is there a chance? Sure. Is it going to happen? No. They're all going to come to the table. Because what's their alternative?
I feel like if they don't come to the table and we tariff them, it'll be a very short-lived tariff, just like China.
Yeah, because they're going to come to the table.
Eventually, yes.
Yeah. It hurts them more than it hurts us.
Correct.
And look, that's the negotiating power, being the largest economy in the world. Trump's exploiting that.
Let's talk about a stock that I'm thinking of buying before earnings and really developing a serious position, and that you are getting ready to get the hell out of. Why are you so mad at Tesla?
So, as a shareholder, so let's start like that. As a shareholder, I would rather Elon focus on business and nothing else. That is my personal preference. Now, he has every right to say what he wants. He has every right to do all the things that he does. That's on him. The difference is he is the CEO of a publicly traded company. And I am worried what the ramifications are, because he has been alienating a large segment of the population. And I'm worried how it's going to impact sales next year. I'm also worried about him going against the administration, what that means if they need legislation passed for certain things. I don't like aspects of it. And
now my retort to that is as follows, and I told you this on the phone. Elon has said anything you could possibly say that should have this stock down below 100.
Yep.
Trump's on the Epstein list. I'm starting a third party, yada, yada. Like all this crazy shit. Market doesn't care.
Market doesn't care. No,
It's higher than when it was before he had the America
Right.
tweet posts.
The market doesn't care until the numbers really get impacted.
But even the numbers, the market doesn't care. We had horrible delivery numbers 2 quarters ago, 2 months ago. Market didn't care.
Yeah, but what do we think they're going to be next year when subsidies run out?
All I'm saying is you'd never bought Tesla for the auto numbers, even though they matter.
No.
And the market, I think, has seemingly convinced themselves that the auto numbers, as much as they think it matters, or they'll react on the day-to-day, they don't matter.
I mean, come on. They're a $1 trillion company that generates $6 billion in profit. Like, come on. Like, that's insanity.
People are buying the potential. Like, but no, okay.
Get
No,
it.
I agree it's insanity, but I am
Yeah.
I'm also humble enough to know I'm not going to get a 150 entry price. That's not happening on Tesla.
It was at 200 in August 2024.
But the whole market was down at 200.
I'm just saying that it all depends on what he says. Robotaxis seems like it's a flop at the moment. You got the reports that Optimus is going to be delayed. And oh no, oh my God, they may go into a second market. Who cares?
Steve, if we're buying this thing legit for the next 10, 20 years, everything you just said doesn't really matter. Right? Like that's just like they're not thesis breakers.
If you're buying it for 10 or 20 years, nothing I'm saying is going to matter. But I think there's going to be a much better entry price because I think the next year is going to be very rocky.
So that's the point of contention. How aggressive of a, because entry price does matter, right? If you buy it at 450, you still haven't broke even. So my take that I'm starting to think now is 280 to 320 is the range that this thing is going to be stuck at.
It could be. It could go back to 350 or 375. The problem is after Q3, when the subsidies run out, okay, then you got the subsidies for energy running out. What happens with 2026? And what happens with the comps in 2026 when cars get more expensive? They're not generating the revenue from robotaxis, and Optimus is pushed off. What happens then when
nothing happens? No, the stock does not.
Maybe nothing happens, but I would rather be in Nvidia than Tesla right now.
That's fine. I love being in Nvidia over Tesla right now. I'm just saying he said the president was on the Epstein list, and the stock is higher than when it was the day he said that. Like at some point, I think the market has realized they don't care. They're betting that this is going to be the company that has Nvidia level growth. It just might take 4 to 5 years.
And it very well may. The problem for me at this point is how focused is Elon? I don't know how focused he is. He's spending all of his time on all these other things. And it's just, there are other opportunities. I'd rather own Meta. I'd rather own Amazon. I'd rather own Nvidia at this point.
I have no problem with owning other names. I have other names, and now I'm comfortable with those positions. So I want to open.
If Tesla goes down to 250 or 200, it'll be really interesting again. Right? At these levels, I'm just not that interested because I think it's just going to bounce around.
Well, I agree. To me, I think that's accumulation time. I think that's, not being too cocky and waiting for it to get all the way down. But I disagree when you say he's distracted. I think whatever he's working on outside of the political stuff is all AI oriented. Like Grok's coming to Tesla next week. He said that yesterday. I will have in my Tesla the ability to theoretically talk to an AI. That's because he's working on XAI. So there's synergies, right? Even if he's quote unquote distracted.
Yeah, well, you know what? XAI should have been owned by Tesla, or Tesla should have been a seed investor of it. Same with SpaceX. Like, let's not forget, this company has been built on dilution.
I mean, well, if MicroStrategy can dilute, you're damn sure Tesla can dilute.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'd rather them dilute shareholders than tap the debt market.
Also, they do have 37 billion in cash, basically 40 billion in cash. I mean,
yeah, but that's all from dilution.
Whatever it's from, dude, I don't care. They can use that cash.
They've gone from 1.9 billion shares in 2015 to 3.2 billion. Like, that's called dilution.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just saying, I think that cash inevitably is going to help them long term.
100%.
Obviously, Nvidia is, the golden child right here, and you and I both like this, and it's my portfolio has been very different having Nvidia over Tesla this year, as heavy as it's been. But eventually, I can't deny that robotaxis are coming. I can't deny that Optimus is coming. I can't deny that energy is coming. I can't deny that a lot of these companies are not going to win, and it's going to be Tesla's market ultimately to capitalize on. I also disagree. Robotaxi is not a flop. I don't know what you're talking about.
So driving off the road and driving into things and all those reports, I don't know if that's good for robotaxi. And after really looking at Uber, I'm not convinced robotaxi is going to be a huge thing for Tesla. I'm really not.
Well,
Tesla to me is robotics.
So some of the extreme scenarios, I agree, those are bad. But you don't see the entire TAM for robotaxi anyway, so that's why you've kind of always been
Yeah, I don't. Robotaxi doesn't mean anything to me. It's a robotics play, and if you're talking 10, 20 years, it's going to be fine. It's just right now, I think there's better opportunities, and I think you can hang out in other opportunities, generate more alpha, and get into it Tesla at a better price.
So
I could be wrong, but that's just my feeling.
Your covered calls are at 270,
260,
and so September you're letting them get taken away.
Yeah,
you're not even for a second. What if Tesla gets to like 375? Would you roll them?
If I end up being wrong and Tesla doesn't go down after earnings and it starts going up, if there's an opportunity where I can roll it out and get another 20 or 30 points out of it by rolling it up and out for a month or two, sure, I'll do that because it's free money at that point. But it's not something I'm excited to hold right now.
Okay.
Like I'd rather buy NVIDIA at a $4 trillion valuation because I think NVIDIA is going to be the first $5 trillion company. That's another 25% upside.
Okay. Should Tim Cook be fired in Apple?
No. He should be moved to chief operating officer. He is a critical component. He just doesn't have the vision, but the guy's an operator. He gets stuff done. You put him back as COO and you hire a visionary for them to actually do what they need to do to be relevant in AI.
Are you afraid of Apple at all at these levels?
Why would I be afraid of Apple?
Like buying it here? Would you be
scared? No.
So
I'm not buying it, but I wouldn't be afraid to buy it. It's Apple.
Two reports yesterday. One was the Tim Cook should be fired thing on the street, which I think is ridiculous for them.
It's ridiculous.
But the second one was that they're working on Vision Pro 2, like a real glasses version. Like I think the bigger question here is, do you trust Tim Cook? Because if he fails again at another glasses launch, that's when I think he legit could theoretically, the board could be like, all right, we need a product guy. Do you think they will fail again at Vision Pro?
They need to. So I want to look at something. So Apple allocated $11 billion to CapEx in the trailing 12. Their CapEx has been relatively flat. Can I share my screen?
Yeah.
Like this is what I don't like. As much as I love buybacks, this is what I don't like about Apple. Their CapEx has been relatively flat for the past decade. Okay. They generate so much money. Figure out what you want to do and earmark $25 billion to get it done.
So
like they have the money. Just freaking get the job done.
Okay. So do you think they should buy Perplexity with that $25 billion? Really? You should buy Perplexity?
They are generating.
Perplexity does $50 million of revenue, by the way, just to let you know.
So keep this in mind, okay? When you think about profitability, Apple is generating about $1.9 billion a week in free cash flow, okay? If they burn $25 billion, it would not matter. So buy Perplexity or buy Anthropic or buy one of these companies and freaking, it doesn't matter. You're not buying it as an add-on for revenue. You're buying it to embed in your products to actually compete against Alphabet. You have to think about spending money to protect your moat and try to grab market share. It's a long-term play because obviously they can't build it on their own. They're too far behind, and they're not going to do what Zuck is doing and play offense and just offer people $50 or $100 million.
What is Zuck's do, bro? Zuck's is like, I think he thinks I think he's a kid in.
He's the best.
I think he thinks he's a kid in 2005 again that can do whatever the hell he wants.
How about he's the best CEO in the market right now?
But now he's a kid that has $2 trillion.
How about his dividend checks from Meta are so freaking big it doesn't matter?
He gets an $800 million dividend check every quarter. Like, what type of? It's just wealth compounding wealth, bro.
Yeah, he just freaking he can just write the check from his checking account for these bonuses.
Dude, that also might be one of the. I mean, legally he would have to reduce his pay to give them the pay, but theoretically he might be thinking, okay, like I'll just get paid less and let's just get these engineers. You know?
You think he really cares?
I mean, his stock is going to be worth enough where it doesn't matter in the short term.
It doesn't matter. And guess what? Zuck always plays to win. He does not care. He sees something, he does it, and he doesn't apologize, and he does it.
That's what the one thing I love about him, bro. I know people hate how like weird and how, you know, how he operates Facebook, how much he cares about data aggregation, all that stuff. And you could have philosophical disagreements, but you got to respect he just goes at people's throats to be able to win. He's ruthless.
Look, he sets a vision and he utilizes the assets that he has to get the vision done, whether he's building it organically or acquiring other companies or acquiring top talent. And look, he's a wartime CEO.
Yeah.
And he's an innovator. He's one of the top innovators. Now, everybody thinks about Jensen and Musk, but you got to put Zuckerberg on the Mount Rushmore of innovation. Have to.
I agree. Have you seen The Social Network?
Amazing movie.
I've seen this, I think, like 5 times. That's probably up there in my top 10.
It's so good. I mean, I've seen it at least 5 times. So good.
Yeah. Are you still on SLB?
Yeah.
You read an article on them recently, right?
Last week. This week.
Okay. Okay. Salesforce. What is the pitch? Why is this thing going to 100 or 500?
Salesforce is just, it's an incredible company. It's misunderstood. It's back to like 260. It is a screaming buy. I mean, I haven't built out any charts or anything, but if you look at that, I could just use Seeking Alphas, even though mine would be much prettier.
I have seen the movie. It's a good movie. I actually have seen it.
What movie?
Social Network. Also, I told them last Sunday that I watched.
You shouldn't have said anything and embarrass yourself.
What, Old School?
Yeah, because
no, I said it was a good movie. I said I wouldn't watch it again, but it wasn't a bad movie. I personally wouldn't watch it again. Well, we'll talk about XRP. Don't worry. We'll talk about. You got the XRP bulls spamming XRP because they know you're going to say.
Dude, can I just tell you that people like messaging me about XRP, like, don't let up on XRP, keep saying it on midstream. Like, what are you like? I don't get it. I don't get it.
There is a community that loves.
Their community is insane.
All right, Salesforce.
But you look at Salesforce's cash from operations, like this is what I care about. Okay. How much cash from operations do you produce? And guess what? In the past decade, they've 9x their cash from operations. They've gone from 1.6 or maybe 8x, 1.6 billion to 13.3 billion, and their capex doesn't change. I mean, they're generating $12.5 billion a year now in freaking free cash flow. This company is now buying back. I mean, they bought back 4 billion worth of shares, 7.6 billion, 7.8 billion, and now they're trailing 12. They're over 8 billion. And now they're paying a dividend. And you're getting them at a freaking price that's 24 times this year's earnings. And here's the crazy thing. Look at the chart. They were at 369. Now they're at 258. And everybody wants to talk about growth. Okay, cool. Look at the freaking EPS growth here. Double digits for the next 3 years. 55 analysts covering them. That's a lot. And then look at revenue growth. For a company this big, that's a lot of revenue growth.
Okay, so why are they down so much this year?
People don't understand what Benioff is doing.
Whoa, this stock's down 21%.
I'm telling you, this is a screaming buy into earnings. Screaming buy.
I actually don't think you're wrong about that, to be honest.
It's a screaming buy into earnings. You don't sell a company that is increasing their profitability like this, increasing their EPS like this. You're getting this at freaking 18 times 2027 earnings. This is in freaking alphabet land right now.
But Well, that's a great segue, because if it's in Alphabet land, maybe the street is not happy with their AI narrative.
What the street is failing to realize is their AI narrative is going to juice earnings a ton. This is the time to get in when people are bearish on it.
So you think this is Google right now?
Yes. Yes.
You would buy this over
$250 billion for a company that's doing $12.5 billion in free cash flow. You're paying 11 times free cash flow. That's crazy.
So you would buy Salesforce over Palantir right here?
100% all day long. Not even a question.
I mean, I can't disagree that it's undervalued. But yeah, there is a Google type of overhang in terms of, because Palantir's getting a premium and they don't do as much free cash flow as Salesforce because of AI.
Palantir doesn't even do $500 million in net income.
I get it. I'm just saying.
Look at Oracle. Oracle was dead money for how long?
That's true. You're right.
And then they caught a freaking bid because the street actually understood their AI narrative. And Oracle's numbers, I think, are
Oracle. Hold on. The difference here is Oracle's bid on AI felt more durable because it was tied to cloud computing and hyperscalers. But Salesforce is software, and they've got to actually prove use cases with that software.
At the same time, Oracle's cash from operations is $20 billion, but they're not generating free cash flow right now because they're spending all their cash from operations to build everything out. And when they were, their free cash flow was less than what Salesforce was generating, or around the same.
But Oracle is building up the pipes of this AI revolution with data centers. I mean, Salesforce's
software is not getting replaced.
I agree with that. I wonder how much it's going to grow is my question.
The analysts seem to think it's going to grow a decent amount.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong on that. I mean, every analyst I know is not bearish on Salesforce. All of them are buys.
I mean, look, it's a value play. It's a tech company that rewards you with a ton of buybacks, now a dividend, and it's something that is in the AI field. Benioff is deeply respected, and this could catch a bid at any time. And if this catches a bid, it can go to 350 very easily.
When's the last time it was at 350?
This year.
Let me see. Wait, it was? Oh yeah, 340 January.
Chart.
Yeah, January. January 20.
Year to date. Look at a 1 year.
Yeah, December it was 367.
And look at a 5 year. I mean, in 2021 it was at over 300. I mean, you basically got all the growth over the past couple of years, and it's been sideways.
So you own this or no?
I'm getting ready to start a position now that's under 260. I almost bought some today, but I ended up not buying anything. I do think that this is a very good play. I'm probably going to become a shareholder next week. But the more that I look at this, when you're talking about software companies, right? Let's say Palantir keeps going up. Do we really think Palantir is going to get to $500 billion and Salesforce is going to stay at 250? Do we think Oracle is going to keep going up and SaaS companies are going to keep going up and Salesforce is going to sit out? At some point, the market's going to give them the respect they deserve.
Yeah.
So if AI does what we think it's going to do, I think Salesforce is going to be a $400 or $500 billion company in a couple of years.
Let's talk some macro. Do you think there's any chance of any reasonable chance of a drawdown to like 57, 50, 800, or you think it's kind of
maybe? Depends. I mean, right now, I don't think there's anything ahead of us that would really hurt unless earnings season isn't good. But I think earnings season is going to be fine.
Did you see Levi's?
No.
They said tariffs have no issue on the brand or on demand. They increased the dividend, and then they beat EPS by 70% with no weird accounting things.
Yeah, there's none of this impacted companies.
Well, Powell thinks it's going to impact a lot of companies.
Yeah, Powell's been wrong for how long?
Did you see what the director of Fannie and Freddie
Yes, I did.
I think it's a lot of BS, but
Who cares?
I mean, he says, I think I'm happy to know that Jay Powell's considering resigning. There's no reports that confirm Jay Powell's
He
resigning.
should have cut in March. He shouldn't have cut last year. Okay, he shouldn't have continued cutting from last year, but he should have cut in March.
Well, if we don't get a cut in September, I think it's not going to be pretty.
I mean, I want to share one chart with you.
And the probabilities, Steve, went from 92 to 62 this week.
No, I saw it.
Oh, now it's at 60. Sorry. It was at 62 during the market open. Now it's at 60.5.
Yeah, but look at December 2026 on the Fed Watch tool. I looked at this an hour ago. I mean, there's a pretty good chance that we get 150 bips of cuts from now through the end of next year. Or
Okay,
more.
so if those do you think those 150 bips of cuts are going to be because of a weak economy or because of inflation coming down?
No, because you have neither, because you have to do it. Here's why.
You don't have to do anything.
No, they have to do it. This is the chart that nobody wants to look at, but it is one of the most important things. The 30-year versus the Fed funds rate. Okay. You can't have a period where the Fed funds rate in 2011 is 4.5 and then goes down to 3.5 and then stays there until 2018. Okay. You just can't do that and expect people to refinance at 6.5. And then before you get the Fed craziness, what happened? Oh, we got down to under 3% on the 30-year. The housing market is locked. And the only way to get the 30-year down is to drop interest rates. The housing market is locked. Nobody is refining. Nobody is selling or buying unless they're moving for work. And guess what? That also has an implication because where the Fed funds rate is now is restricted for business refinancing debt. It's not just about mortgages and the housing market. It's also about corporate debt rolling over. You have to get rates down to 3%. Have to.
So, okay, the fourth year of a massive bull run tends to be the worst year, and 2026 will be that fourth year. If what you're saying is correct and rates come down as aggressively as they will because they have to, do you think 2026 we have another 20% S&P 500 year or anywhere close to that?
You want me to make the prediction right now?
I want you to make the
prediction.
I'd like S&P 7,500
higher.
Someone's got to clip Steve doing that higher. That was great. Someone's got to clip that. That was higher. Can someone make that into a GIF? I need to learn how to make GIFs. Someone make that into a GIF and send it to me, and I will post it every time. Someone's like, hood to 100. I'll just post that Steve's higher.
If we get 150 bips of cuts by the end of next year, you could see the S&P at 8,000. Here's why. Where do we finish today?
62.50.
Where do we finish?
We finished exactly at 62.59. EPS is earnings per share. And that's just how much net income, how much profit a company makes per share.
So think about this. To get from here to 7,000 is less than 12% higher. How much are we up on the year?
We are up year to date 6.7%.
Okay, so you get another 12%. You're at another 20% year. That is nothing out of the ordinary from what we've been doing.
Not at all.
And then guess what? Another 1,000 points next year from 7,000 is only 14.3% higher to get to 8,000.
Okay, but when you say only, historically we only do 8%. So is that only a little too aggressive?
Historically, the S&P average has been 10.8 or 10.6.
Okay, it's still 14, still a little bit. I see.
Okay, but we're in a different era. We're not driven by Coca-Cola, GE, and freaking Exxon. We're driven by technology with faster expansion in earnings and larger earnings.
That's true. That is
so,
true.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say if we don't have geopolitical headwinds and if we don't have a constricting economy and the economy is still growing, we could get to 7,000 by the end of this year. We get to 8,000 next year.
Well, this goes back to the conversation we had 2 weeks ago on the Future Show. What exactly is the macro? Not the micro bear case, the macro bear case. It's hard to find it.
You have the war. You have the war in the Middle East, and then China takes Taiwan while our forces divert it.
Right, which is just that could happen.
And then the S&P is going to 3,000.
Yeah.
So
right,
that's the big bear case: is that supply chains for chips get constricted. China takes over Taiwan, but I don't think that's happening. Like, you don't have oil at 100; you have oil at 65.
Dude, Iran-Israel feels like it was like how long?
Nothing burger from the market. I mean, it's just if Israel-Iran doesn't derail the market, it's going to be hard to find something that does.
Yeah, I mean, like Moody's, bond yields.
Think of that. A couple of years ago, you would have oil go to 80 or 90 off of that.
Yeah, easily.
So it's
no, but you make a good point though. What's running the market is not Coca-Cola, GM, and Exxon.
No.
It's Nvidia, Amazon, and Meta. It's like the most important companies.
Paradigm shift. More earnings, bigger earnings, more growth.
We got a super chat right here from Steve's Milk Delivery Man, who says, glad to see he's back. You realize how popular I don't think you realize how popular.
No, I have no idea.
Like people just love you. Nick, thanks for the $10. Amit, your daily stock insights are priceless. Big thanks to you and your guests for keeping us informed and helping us make smart decisions. Happy to support your channel. Nick, thank you for being here. Next time I get dinner with Steve, hopefully he'll let me buy dinner for both of us.
That's not happening.
Dude, when are we doing Patsy's again?
No, we can figure it out.
Got to do Patsy's again, bro.
That place is great.
That pizza. I said I would eat like 2 slices. I think I had like 5 slices. It was great.
I'm telling you that pizza is so good. So good.
Okay. Siege, thanks for the $10. I will shoot over Futu to Steve. Steve, this is a Chinese brokerage financial company. So I'll see if he's interested at all in taking a look at this one. Okay. XRP. Why is it rallying to $3?
So there's a lot of speculation that the lawsuit's going to get dropped.
Oh wait, hold on. Before we keep going on this, when we go to Patsy's again, can we get Alfredo fettuccine?
Get whatever the hell you want.
Okay, so we can get Alfredo fettuccine.
You can get whatever you want.
So you have no issue with Alfredo fettuccine?
No.
Interesting. You have zero issue with Alfredo fettuccine.
Dude, I don't care what you get. Why would I care?
I don't know. I feel like you would have an issue with Alfredo fettuccine.
Why? Because it's the worst character in The Godfather?
That was a character in The Godfather?
Yeah, Fredo's the worst character in The Godfather.
Oh. No, I don't know about that. For some reason, I was told that you would have an issue with Alfredo fettuccine, but I guess you don't. So,
I mean, I would
never. Again, let me say it again. Alfredo fettuccine. That's what I want to get.
I don't know what you're getting at. So I have no idea.
All right, folks. He doesn't have an issue.
I mean, I don't know what the big joke is. Like, I don't get
it. Okay, so apparently the way you say it is fettuccine, not fettuccine.
Tomato. Like, who freaking cares?
Everyone got so mad at me the other day. I was like, guys, I love Alfredo fettuccine. And the whole chat, they thought it was like a Metallica moment. And they're like, Steve's going to get pissed. But you're okay with it. So
no, I don't. Whatever.
You're okay with it. You're fine. So there you go. It's approved by Steve. There we go. All right, XRP. Why is this thing running to $3? And should people at all be excited?
Look, the lawsuit's going to get dropped. Brad Garlinghouse is the most important person in crypto. I don't know how many times I have to say this. They're going after the Swift banking network, and I think XRP is going to do really well.
Okay, my question to you is, if stable coins are cross-border payments and the solution to that, and the Fed loves them, why would the Fed use XRP over stablecoin?
Ripple has already partnered with hundreds of banks. XRP and the XRP ledger is already embedded into things. You can have stable coins and also XRP. XRP has always been for financial institutions to move money cross-border. Just leave it at that. It is scalable, it's efficient, it's institutional grade infrastructure, and it's going to take over the SWIFT banking network.
Okay, so do you think it's right? Okay, so you know what's funny about this? You know what's hilarious about this right now? Last time we talked about XRP really making a run, I don't know if you remember, was in December. And for some coincidental reason, Bitcoin was also making a run at the same time. And my argument was, I think this thing's running only because Bitcoin's running. Now Bitcoin's at all-time highs again, and XRP is running. Do you think this is just a proxy?
Got news for you. Nobody from Bitcoin is testifying at the Senate. Nobody from these other companies, like Brad Garlinghouse is on every financial institution network. He's talking to regulators. He's talking to the administration. He is the most important person in crypto right now.
But like, what if, okay, so when should we expect to see the use cases behind XRP?
The use cases are already there. When do we see them like really scale? Probably within the next year. You need the lawsuit to be dropped. Most likely Judge Torres is going to drop it this summer. We need to see what's in the bill that Sachs is going to get signed. And I think you're going to see a lot of innovation over the next year. I think there's going to be a couple of winners. XRP is going to be one of them. You have to remember, banking institutions are going to want to go with the most prominent that has the best architecture and the most reliability. Right now, that's XRP.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go with XRP to do a stable coin. You can do stable coins for other things, but for financial institutions, they're going to want to go with Ripple.
And do you know any banks that actually use XRP right now? Or like,
I mean, it's integrated into American Express, I believe. It's integrated into a bunch of different banks. They have hundreds of banks as partners. Well, I should say Ripple, not XRP.
And again, the goal is if I want to send money to India, I would do it via XRP or Ripple.
It's a 3-second settlement time.
And would they get XRP or would they get US dollars, but it would be using...
If you're standing in Japan, I can buy XRP with USD. I can send it to you. By the time you open your app, it's already in your account and you can pull it out as yen.
Okay. Sounds cool.
The quickest way for me to get 10 grand to California is to fly it there.
Yes, I see your point. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I got to get on a plane, fly 6 hours to bring 10 grand there because it's not going to settle if I wire it.
Yeah. Dude, I cashed a check yesterday in my Bank of America. I got a notification. I'm not going to get it till July 16th. And I'm like, why? Why are they waiting a week to give me the check? Like,
oh, there's a bunch of different things. You got to look at the fine print. Depends on how much money you keep in your account. Blah, blah. It's all sorts of things. And the SWIFT banking network and the big thing with cross-border is when you send money overseas, it's not just one-to-one. It's not bank A to bank B. There's intermediaries that all take a fee. Like this completely overhauls the banking network.
So you think XRP is going higher?
Yes.
Dude, you guys are quick with it. You guys are quick with it. This is so good. This is so good. Shout out to Haroon who sent me this. This is legit.
You guys are ridiculous.
It's legit, bro. Higher. Next time someone says, what's my price target for Palantir? I'm responding with this GIF. Higher.
Okay.
Higher. This is so good. This is so good. All right. What else did we not talk about? I think we got pretty much all the major topics. NVIDIA, SoFi, Tesla, macro.
We should talk about Cisco.
Oh, yes. So Steve Cisco article, link it right here. This one's done great. You were bullish on this since like 30.
I bought all you guys a share of this. You guys thought I was nuts.
You did at 52, I think a while ago, a year ago, year and a half. Yeah, do you think there's still upside here or?
So do you mind if I read you something and show you something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I want to put things into perspective. So Palantir, as of yesterday, had a market cap of $337 billion, right? Generated $3.12 billion in revenue and did $570 million in net income, right? Palantir was trading at 245 times 2025 earnings, and the PE wasn't expected to fall below 30 until 2023, based on what the analyst community sees.
Yeah.
All right. In 1999, Cisco generated 62 cents of EPS and was trading around $80 per share. It had a PE of 130. Okay, split adjusted. PE of 130. It had a very high valuation for back in the day. That was nosebleed section. But guess what? It grew into that and then some, and the market left it out. 25 years later, Cisco has not gone back to where it was in the dot-com bubble.
Correct.
And guess what they did? They increased their revenue by 357%. $43.47 billion they added in revenue, and they went from 12.15 billion to 55.6 billion in revenue. And their net income increased by 367%. They were actually generating 2.1 billion in net income back in 99. They're now doing almost 10 billion. So I'm going to show you a chart of what they've done with this business over the past 2.5 decades. This is exactly what you want to see. This company continuously trended upwards. They're the backbone of networking infrastructure. And they have generated, I think it was something like 190 billion in net income over the past 2.5 decades. They've bought back more than 20% of the company over the past decade. And when you look at the numbers, they're trading at 18 times this year's earnings, 15.5 times 2027's earnings, and the stock's up 48% this year.
So you're saying that the screaming? Are you saying it's a screaming buy? Like, what do you?
No, it was a screaming buy.
Okay.
It's still a buy. This thing's going to 100. This thing's going to take out their all-time highs finally. You cannot find a company that got murdered in the dot-com era, survived, and has done what Cisco did. Like, at some point, it will be higher than it was during the dot-com era.
That's fair. I mean, look, I think you're right. They also have massive partnerships with OpenAI and Stargate. So,
and here's the big thing. They were a networking company. Now, networking is only 49% of their revenue. That's big. Security in Q3 was $2 billion of revenue, and it grew 54% year over year. They have become a software and security subscription business that is diversifying their revenue mix. As additional data centers get built out, you are going to need more networking equipment. And with that networking equipment comes subscriptions, because their Meraki software, or their Meraki equipment needs the Meraki software, which you go on an EA agreement for. And then you also have their security products for email, for corporations, and all this other stuff. Like, the big thing that people don't realize, when you are an individual, okay, you have Gmail, you have AOL, you got Outlook, whatever you have. You buy Norton or you buy whatever your antivirus is, and you don't do anything else. A corporation's software stack is so advanced and there's so many layers to it. They don't just have an antivirus.
Yeah.
They're using Sophos or Barracuda or Splunk or something, and then they have their NOC, they have their SOC. They have a lot of different components. And how much corporations spend on cybersecurity and how much they're going to continue to spend, and it's going to expand, is going to be insane. And Cisco is positioning itself with NVIDIA to be the premium, to be the prime for networking for the next generation of AI architecture. So I think people are sleeping on this the same way they're sleeping on Salesforce. The difference is Cisco is actually up a lot, but it's still being disrespected a lot.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. It's not going to catch the super growth investors, but for people that want something a little bit safer, but in AI, I mean, it could do what IBM did. IBM was dead for 10 years, and then it came back.
Well, yeah, exactly. And look at this chart. Tell me this isn't disrespected.
I mean, that's a long time,
right?
Yeah.
Like, it peaked out around 80 or so back in 2000. split adjusted. It's never gone back there. In 25 years, with the amount of progress Cisco's made,
No, it's fair point.
$272 billion company, and then look at the dividends. 13 years of dividend growth. It's up 40-something percent. It's still paying 2.4% on the dividend. I mean, the buybacks are huge. And then this is the big thing. You look at a cash flow statement. Cisco's generating around 12.8 billion in free cash flow. And when you look at their repurchases every year, they repurchase a ton of stock. And then they also pay a ton in dividends. This is a company that just freaking rewards shareholders hand over fist.
All right. I will link his article. That is the Cisco thesis. We got a couple super chats. PLTR, thank you for the $100. Bought XRP at 35 cents. Bank of America, Chase are using XRP. Here are your XRP coins. All right, here we go. I'm using that super chat. We'll buy some XRP. Steve, I'm back in.
You're back. You're getting back in with XRP. Look
I'm
at
back
that.
in, baby. There you go.
Look at you. Love
35 XRP.
Love
I am
it.
in. Thank you for the super chat, sir. And then Sam B says, and I've heard this from a lot of other people as well, XRP is empowering stablecoin infrastructure replacing Swift. Chainlink is. Swift, Arbitrum, etc. all use Chainlink for tokenization. Chainlink is the actual infrastructure being adopted, not XRP. Do you know anything about Chainlink? Have you heard about them?
Yeah, I've heard about Chainlink. And I never said XRP is powering stablecoins. Two separate things. The XRP infrastructure is an alternative option to the Swift banking network. And the whole goal behind XRP has been to same thing as Robinhood, democratize banking, make it quicker, more accessible, and cheaper. And through XRP and the XRP ledger, they are actually able to do that against the Swift banking network.
So you don't think Chainlink is a better decentralized way of creating that payment infrastructure?
There's different ways you can go about it, but I'm looking at what are the banks doing? Who are the banks partnering with? If the banks are partnering with Ripple, they're way smarter than me. If they wanted to use a different product or a different software stack for that, they'd be partnering with somebody else.
Right.
So I'm looking at where the big banks are going and who they're partnering with. Now, I'm not saying that Chainlink isn't going to be big in stablecoins because I'm not addressing stablecoins with XRP. I'm just saying that for financial institutions, Ripple and XRP are going to be a play.
Okay. There you go. I think that's it. I think that's it today. Steve, does it feel like the year is going by fast? Because we got a couple weeks left of July, bro. That's it. I mean,
yes.
I think it's going by very fast. It'll be August soon, and then September through December.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And the market is back. I mean, the market's back.
Dude, the market is so back.
The market is so
back. Look, we went through this tariff craziness in April, and then since then, it's just been higher. Like,
you know, I remember I was talking about Alexandria real estate.
Yes.
Dude, I called the bottom on that.
What was the ticker on that?
ARE.
Oh, yes. I forgot ARE. Yeah.
Look at this. I called the freaking bottom on that.
This is a REIT, right?
Yeah, it's still cheap. You're able to get this, all of its assets, a 6.5% yield, and it's still trading at probably 30% discount to book. I think book value is 102.
Did you?
Yeah, 102.65 book value.
But you didn't buy it.
I own it.
Oh, you own it. Okay.
Yeah.
You called the bottom on like 7 names this year. 2 of them you bought, but still, like you're a good stock picker. You need to trust yourself more. Like you can pick
I need to give you. I just need to set up a new account. Just have you use, and I'll just tell you what to buy.
Literally, like I just need to pull the trigger for you. Literally.
Yeah, I just need somebody to pull the trigger for me. I can retire in a freaking year.
Do you like ARE better than AGNC?
They're different.
Okay.
I think ARE's got more potential to go up. I think AGNC is interesting because it's got such a high yield that even if it doesn't do anything, you can suck the liquidity out of it. And I think it's going to do better in a lower rate environment because they'll have more originations and there'll be a few things. But I like ARE a lot here. I really do.
Shout out to Size67, broke $1 million this week.
Congrats. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Congrats. It's awesome. For everyone spamming AMD in the chat, Steve doesn't talk about AMD. He has some history with this name. So
have I ever told that? I don't know if I've ever told the story live.
I mean, you've told it a couple times, but we got new subscribers, so you might as well tell it again.
So I was in AMD. I refuse to look at it. I'm going to look at it for the chat. It's a very sore subject. So I'll just pull up the chart. I used to swing trade AMD for a long time because my theory was that AMD can't go under because Intel being monopoly, because they're the only two companies that make x86 chips. So for a long time, I would swing trade it. And I got caught in this area when it started going down, and I bought more and more. And I ended up with like, I think it was 7,700 shares of it. And it was stuck for so long that I was like, I just want to get out. Like when you're just stuck and you're just trying to buy your way out of a hole, and legitimately from 2012, like it just didn't do anything. So when it finally pumped, I needed to go to like 367 actually. So in 2016, I got out and then it just freaking ran. It never came back down. And that's my big thing was they had APUs. So unlike Intel, they were building CPUs that had a GPU chip embedded in it. So you didn't have to put a GPU in as a secondary chip. It was all one die. And I thought that was going to be really big. So somebody else that's in the same pain as me. So,
but you wouldn't have held to 150, right? So you can't blame yourself for.
No, but I probably would have held to at least 10 or 15.
Yeah.
You know, I would have never held to 150. There was zero chance.
No.
But at the same time, sore spot. Very sore spot.
I was talking to a guy yesterday. He has 91,000 shares of NVIDIA, $2 average.
Jesus.
So he was showing me text messages of him texting his mom and dad back in 2016 of telling them to buy NVIDIA. It's incredible, dude. It's freaking incredible.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I mean, when you tell your friends and family to buy a stock, obviously there's always this pressure because what if they do and what if you're wrong? But what if they do and what if you're right and what if you're really right?
Yeah, turning 180 grand to almost 15 million doesn't suck.
Yeah. I saw his portfolio yesterday. It's a little bit above 15 million, but it's a lot. I mean, 15 million, bro. It's a lot. It's on Robinhood too, which is nice to see. It's on Hoodie. So
what's going on with Big Bear?
Oh, you tell me, Mr.
I've been asking you this. It's starting to come down a little bit.
No, you got mad at me last week because it ran up. Look, it now ran back down.
Apparently. Yeah. Are we going to get bullish on this? Like, what's going on here?
You can get bullish on it. I will be. Its name says to be a bear, so I will be a big bear. And
that's good.
That was good, right? I've been on a roll. Dude, you haven't even heard the other ones this week. This week's been good. This week's been, I think, like at least an A- in the humor category this week. No, I'm not bearish, but dude, I think this is all hype. I think it's all momentum. Like people say there's government deals. It's like, okay, but like, is this the next Palantir? I don't think so.
I don't really know what they do.
Having said that, it's only.
Let's look at the stock draft. How bad am I doing?
Before that, having said that, the stock's only $2 billion, so it can run like crazy because a $2 billion company is nothing in today's day and age. But it's also, a lot of momentum that's in it.
I'm getting freaking slaughtered.
You want to bring it up or you want me to bring it up?
I'll bring it up.
Yeah, you bring it up. No, you're still in fourth though.
That's
in wardrobe. Hold on. Hold on. I gotta show, hold on. Before we do this, you gotta see my outfit from Tuesday. I want to know if you hated my outfit as much as they hated my outfit. Hold on. I gotta show this to you.
I want to know why you're wearing a Boston hat.
Dude, I love freaking Boston. I had a great time in Boston. All right, look at this. Do you have an issue with this outfit? It's a jersey over a hoodie, and everyone,
Yes,
like, they said it was like an apron or something. It's not an apron. It's a like, what's wrong with a jersey over a hoodie? Like,
I wouldn't hate it if you were actually going to a Golden State game.
so I can't rock a Golden State jersey in New Jersey? Like,
over a hoodie? No.
dude, everyone flamed. I'm like, it's a jersey over a hoodie. How is it?
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
All right. Well, anyway, who's winning? Let's see this.
Matt.
Matt's at 11%.
Matt, Tanner, you, me, Chris. I want to see the actual thing. So, Hood's up a lot for you. AMD's up a lot for you.
Oh, I forgot I have AMD. Yeah, that's been helping.
Nimbus and Duolingo are not doing good for you.
Do you call it Nimbus?
Nimbus, yeah. Nimbus.
That's what it's been. The Nimbus and Duolingo are royally screwing me in this ETF.
And then Hims is screwing me.
That'll be back, though. That'll be fine.
Yeah, Salesforce and PayPal are also screwing me right now. They were doing
no.
good.
PayPal, dude, that's not 1% down is not screwing you at all. That's nothing. Hims is the only.
You guys were laughing when I picked freaking Strategy.
You're right. That one's a good. That's your best return so far.
I mean, look, Matt got Rocket Lab and SoFi both over 40% since we did.
Yeah, Matt. Unless there's, I think Matt is in a pretty good. Oscar, dude, he was up like 40% on Oscar too. That one's down now. So that one's getting him. Dutch Bros, I didn't know it was down that bad.
Tanner, dude, picking up Coin was a good one.
Yeah, Coin was the sleeper.
Why is Chris down?
So Chris is getting screwed on Elf, which I don't even know why that got hit this week. And then Novo with the him stuff screwed him. And then Take Two is just like that. That's just not going to do anything, I think, until next year, if it does anything. And then Google could help him a lot, but Sundar's got to crush earnings.
Yeah.
And UNH just might be a sleeper. It might not do much, but it's a great pick because over time it should be fine. Just maybe not in a year. If Tanner also had SoFi, bro, he would be demolishing it.
He should have taken SoFi over New. That should have been his number 2 pick.
I can't believe but he thought Matt wouldn't take it, and Matt ended up taking it. But still, he's crushing it. So for me, I need Duolingo to get their shit together. I need Apple to potentially make a comeback. And Tesla, I think, is my sleeper. I mean, by next, I'm not expecting anything crazy by Tesla, but maybe. Visa, I didn't realize the stablecoin shit would mess up Visa that much.
We got a long time.
Yeah.
We got a long time.
Then I have Grab as well. Grab, we got to see how that one can do over the next year. What is Dividend Stream's name? His name is Milk Mafia Boss. No, it's Steve. But that sounds like a Milk Mafia boss. Dude, imagine you ran a Milk Mafia in New York.
I can only imagine what these people make at the freaking food market that I go to. The line is so long. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's good money, and you're a good customer for them. All right. I think that is it, folks. We are done for the day. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I just asked Amir if he can do Pounter Weekly. He cannot, so we will not be doing Pounter Weekly again because pretty much everyone can't do it. I know people are getting busy, but next week we'll definitely be back. There wasn't a ton of news this week anyway, so next week we'll get back into it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Are you doing anything over the weekend, Steve?
I'm going to try to write some articles, and I think the sports card market's going to be on fire. Did you see Dana White showing off his office the other day?
No.
He had a special vault or safe put in his office for his sports card collection.
Really?
Yeah. I have the clip of it. I can send it to you. You can decide if you can show it or not. Hold on. It's crazy. Like, I really do. Oh, that's something I'm really looking at. TKO. I should have bought it. I wanted to buy it. something maybe not buy it. I should have bought it just so I could say that I'm a shareholder with the UFC. TKO has done so good this year, and their growth is looking good going forward. So
There's going to be a big fight this weekend for the UFC.
Who's fighting?
I don't know, but it seems like there will be.
Can
I
you
do
show
know
my
who. I do know who Dana White is. Okay. Do you know?
Oh, Derek Lewis versus Texas. I don't know if that's a big fight. Who else is on the card? Oh, Wonder Boy's fighting. He's not retired yet.
Oh yeah, did you hear the White House is going to have a UFC fight?
Dude, it's going to
Bro.
be so lit.
That's going to be great.
And if Conor McGregor runs for president of Ireland and wins and then decides to fight as president of Ireland, that would be so freaking ridiculous.
That's in the rumors? They're trying to do that?
Yeah, that's the rumor.
Bruh. Okay.
Can you play this or not?
Yeah.
I got a lot of other shit. So. All right, chat. What up? We are at UFC HQ. We got Dana's office here too. This is sick. Craziest office.
Oh, you haven't seen that yet, huh?
Yeah.
So,
any new additions in
you
the
know, I
office?
started being a card collector now. So when back in the day, you'd put your cards in the safe somewhere. Now they build these safes where you can actually display them.
Oh shit!
That's the Jordan rookie right there. Sorry. The Tom Brady refractor. Excited to see it.
I got a lot of other shit.
The card market is so insane right now. I will say, I was talking to my buddy. I am not a LeBron James fan. I am thinking about buying a PSA 10 of his Topps Chrome rookie and just putting it in the safety deposit box for a couple of years. I think that's a good play. I really do.
I mean, his legacy is going to be respected, you would imagine. So,
how much is it? Hold on.
Hold on real quick. Anthony, thank you for the $10 super chat. Can you ask Steve if Topuria is the GOAT?
Not yet. Well, go to what? Have him freaking go to like all weight classes, just his weight class? Like, what are we talking?
I don't know who this guy is, but there you go. But yeah, thank you for the super chat, Anthony.
No, he's incredible, but no.
Mitch just yawned at your cart. Dude, you're putting them in boxes and putting them in ice. Like, it was incredible. 5,000 for this shit?
What do you mean for this shit?
Bro, these are just physical NFTs. That's all they are.
They're not physical NFTs.
That's exactly what they are. You're staring at a card. There's zero utility to this. Like, don't try to gaslight me into thinking that this is a meaningful asset. It is worth what people are willing to pay for it. That's it. Which makes it no different than Bitcoin to me. Like, it's a picture of a guy with a ball in his hand. Like, you can't tell me this is
a PSA 9 of the Jordan Fleer rookie is 24 grand. A PSA 10 last sale is 204,000 last month.
Yeah, people love Michael Jordan. That's why they're buying it. But if this company burned all their physical cards and just turned them into digital assets, but the validity of the legitimacy behind the thesis of the asset it was there, it would be worth the same. So it's an NFT that's physical. That's all it is.
Have you seen any pictures from Fanatics Fest?
No, look, I'm not denying there's a great market behind it. I'm happy there's a thriving market.
Why didn't that update? I'm not on that page anymore.
Oh, StreamYard probably. You just have to share the other tab. Yeah. People prefer physical. Yes, that's correct. But all you do is like stare at the physical like card. That's all it is. Yeah, it's more like a commodity, I guess.
It is a commodity.
But gold and silver have more use cases than, looking at a card.
Yeah, I wish that we could show videos from Fanatics Fest. But, like, it's insane. like the amount of people that go to these things is insane. The amount of money, like there's videos on YouTube of people dropping a couple $100,000 on cards at the show. It's just, it's absolutely wild what's going on in the sports card market. Absolutely wild.
It is kind of like buying art, right?
That is a one way to really look at this. I mean,
art is a physical representation of someone, drawing or painting something.
It's just wild. It's absolutely wild. But I do think there are. I mean, look at the Pokemon stuff. I'm up over 140% of my Pokemon investments right now. But I do think the LeBron, because he's still playing, he's not in the Hall of Fame yet. And this is the other thing, real quick. So, PSA population report. So that's the other thing you got to look at is the pop reports. So, hold on.
Yes, and then there's Labubu. Correct.
Dude, I bought a case of Labubu the other day.
What?
Yeah. The Big Energy Labubu, I bought a sealed case the other day.
Well then.
Are you surprised about that?
No, I'm not surprised. No, actually, I am surprised. I didn't think you would be buying Labubu.
I mean, why not?
Because it's Labubu.
Right. It's Labubu.
It's a Beanie Baby. It's the new Beanie Baby. Like, what do you like?
But it's an investment.
You had too much time on your hands when you were sick, bro.
But I mean, I'm up on these things, though.
Well, everyone's up on Labubus right now.
Yeah, these things are insane. People are legitimately insane.
How much was it? Yeah, how much you pay?
$360. I paid $60 a pop.
Labubus. Doug says, ask Steve about how famous. Look, I know Jordan was famous. I'm not denying that. He's like the GOAT. It's just buying a card of him. Buying a card of him is just buying his nostalgia.
So this is the population report. So PSA is the #1 grading company. So the LeBron James Chrome that I was looking at has 10,000 copies that were graded by PSA. Only 2,400 of them got a 10. If you can get a black refractor of it, there's only 21 in the world with a PSA 10. I actually think a black refractor sold for a couple $100,000 at the show the other week. I got to double check that. But when you think of something that only has 2,400 and the amount of people that are collecting these things, I do think that the LeBron James market, I'm not a LeBron James fan, I think it's going to go up significantly. I think him and Steph Curry are the ones to buy right now because they will be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you buy and hold forever. Those,
Yeah.
I mean, 100%. I mean, forget their first ballot Hall of Fame. I mean, like they're top 10, arguably all time, like 100%.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron's definitely in the top 10. Curry maybe. LeBron definitely. I even say top 8 for LeBron.
Let me ask you this question, actually, because I asked the chat about this. If you were to name, let's give you a list of 5 people that if you polled all 8 billion people on this planet, 95% of them would know who you're talking about when you mention their name.
Okay.
Who's on that list for you?
I mean, obviously Donald Trump's going to be on it, right? Because everybody either hates him or loves him. So he's definitely on it. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
Barack Obama's on the list.
I had him too. Yep.
There's no question about that. Love him or hate him, you know who Barack Obama is. I mean, there's no way that you have that question and those 2 people are not on that list.
Okay.
No way.
Okay.
Now
it gets tougher.
It gets a little tougher. I'd say Tom Cruise is on that list.
Okay.
Because he's an international movie star.
I do not have Cruise on my list. I don't think everyone in these random countries knows Tom Cruise.
So, okay, maybe not. He's an international movie star.
Steve, we're talking about fame that transcends everything. Like
Tom Cruise is up there.
Okay, you know better than me because I don't watch movies, so you know better than me.
Michael Jordan.
I hesitate to put Jordan on the list.
He is hands down on
I think
that
you go to some countries, dude. You're not thinking of the other sport.
You're not thinking about how big freaking.
Okay, but if you had to bet Ronaldo or Jordan, who would
No,
you pick?
Ronaldo and Messi are on that list.
But they're way above Jordan, right?
No.
You actually, dude, most of the world doesn't care about basketball.
I don't think you understand how big Jordan was.
I don't think you realize how big football is.
It's the biggest sport in the world globally. Yes.
So wouldn't it make sense that more people know Messi and Ronaldo?
Well, I said that Messi and Ronaldo are on the list, right?
Yeah, but they're above Jordan.
I don't think so.
I think you're wrong. I think they're above Jordan.
Regardless, the three of them are on the list.
Okay.
How many people did you say?
I said 5.
8? 5? So Obama, Trump, Messi, we're going today, like right now, or?
So the reason I brought this up is because I was the person that I think everyone will know about, maybe not in this generation, but definitely going back from like the 70s to 2010, Michael Jackson.
I would say Michael Jackson could be on that list.
Music, like everyone is.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because you could put Taylor Swift on that list today.
No, you can't, bro.
Seriously?
Dude, Michael Jackson is here. Taylor Swift is here when it comes to popularity. Like,
I don't like either of them, but Taylor Swift is probably more popular than Michael Jackson.
In this generation, yes. But when Michael Jackson was at his prime, he was selling out 500,000 people in arenas. Like,
I mean, same with Metallica.
Okay, no, get out. No one knows Metallica. No, like that's not. Also, I found out about Guns N' Roses for the first time because of you. I told everybody.
Yeah, Appetite for Destruction is the greatest album ever made.
I think Thriller is the greatest album ever made, but
yeah,
we can agree to disagree. Thriller.
Absolutely not.
What about Elon?
I don't think so.
Me too. I don't think Elon's on the list.
I don't think business guys get on there.
Yeah, I don't think Steve Jobs is on that list. I don't think Zuck's on that list.
I don't think business people get on there. I think it's definitely right now Trump and Obama. I think Messi. I think Ronaldo. I think Swift could be on there. I think Jordan could be on there.
What about Elvis?
No.
Yeah, me either. What about Einstein?
No.
What about Muhammad Ali?
No.
I agree. What about Bill Gates?
No.
What about Gandhi?
No.
See,
you got a better chance of putting Dana White on there than most people.
A lot of people don't know who these people are.
Yeah, there's a lot of people don't know who those people are. Yeah, I mean Kim Kardashian, you could put on that list.
I wouldn't put her on her list, but I think she could be above some of these names.
I think that more people would know who she is than the people you just named.
Yeah. Princess Diana.
It could be on the list.
You can say Jesus, but I'm excluding religious figures. Yeah, because religion is like everyone knows religion, and it's taught around the world. Mr. Beast actually isn't crazy to say.
Mr. Beast is a good one. I didn't even think of. Yeah, he could be on the list. Definitely.
Robert Downey Jr.
That's only if you think the Marvel universe really expands.
Beyonce, I don't think is on that list. No. Pharrell Williams is not on that list. Bob Marley, I don't think that much of the he's big, but Bad Bunny, I think, is on that list. Or at least has a good shot. This is a Latin American.
Bad Bunny is.
He's one of the biggest Latin American superstars.
Okay.
He he puts up I think he's number 1 on streaming across Spotify. He's bigger than Drake. And Drake is not on my list because Drake is he's big, but I don't know if the entire world knows Drake. I don't think the entire world knows Eminem. Celine Dion, I don't think is on that list. Kobe, maybe, but if I'm not putting Jordan on,
maybe.
Yeah, if Jordan's not on the list, I don't know if Kobe makes it. We're talking about you can't put all these famous people on the list. They have to be when I'm saying 95% of the world would know them. We have to think how famous are they? And Michael Jackson, people got to watch some documentaries on how insanely famous this guy was. It's a different level. Yes, Hitler's probably on the list because of people knowing about him historically. But outside of historical figures and religious figures, we're talking about other types of humans that have lived. Madonna, I don't think is on that list.
She could have been.
Shah Rukh Khan could be on that. This you probably don't know him. This is an Indian, like he's like the Tom Cruise of India.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. You could put Putin on the list.
Yeah, Putin.
Everybody knows who Putin is.
Jackie Chan? No, I don't know if Jackie Chan's on the list.
No.
Rihanna is not on the list. Prince, I don't think is on the list, even though he was pretty big in music.
Right.
Anyway, that was my question. Okay, last question for you, Steve. Where again do you buy these cards?
Yeah, I mean, you can buy in all seriousness, eBay is the most legit place to buy them because if the card's worth, as you can see, what the people's ratings are that are selling them. You have consigners like DC Sports and Probstein that 100% legit, and then you also have the eBay guarantee. If it's over a certain amount, it goes to a third party owned by eBay to authenticate it before it gets sent to you. So eBay is probably the most legit, but I like going to shows to buy or establishing a relationship with a independent sports card shop. So.
Okay, before we leave, I have something to show you. This
I actually have to get going. So.
Okay, this just popped on my Twitter feed. I have to show it to you because, you know, I feel like I have an obligation to show you this. This is how we'll end out the show.
I'm sure I know what it is, so go on.
Did you just see it just now?
No, but I know what it is.
What do you think it is?
Me going like that.
No. This one is a little bit better, I think. This one is a little bit better. I have to ask you a question before I show you this. What is the one drink that you love to drink?
I mean,
just say it. We know it.
Water and milk.
Well, this is what some people have created.
What the hell is wrong with people?
Dude, this is
What's
great.
wrong with people?
This is great. You're milking a cow. People are insane.
People are insane.
You should milk a cow one day, bro. Like that would be a great picture. Like you love your milk. Like it kind of looks like you too, bro. Like there you go. All right. That's how we ended out. That's how we ended out today. All right. We're out. Thank you everybody for being here. Appreciate you all.
Later,
Steve, we're very loved in this community. Let me just say that. People really miss you.
I appreciate it. Amit, I'll give you a call later.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you guys next week. Bye, everyone.